Correct. Iran and the U.S. have again fired missiles. Oil prices have gone up. The international standard is already back up to about $80 a barrel. Gasoline prices are expected to go back up. Iran declaring it's closing the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump insists it's open. And now today, President Trump said the U.S. would reinstate the naval blockade against Iranian ships and ports and would charge a 20% toll on all cargo shipped through the Strait of Hormuz.
We're going to keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait.
That's Trump today on Fox News. The president says he wants Senator Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene, to be his temporary replacement. This morning, a shooting occurred in Biddeford, Maine. A person was killed, and federal immigration police were involved, say two Maine state lawmakers. It's under investigation, they say. This is ABC News. New research is out about care for teenagers who get concussions. Standard practice has been to prohibit screen time in the first 48 hours to avoid eye strain and interference with sleep. ABC's Melissa Adon.
In a report from the British Journal of Sports Medicine, teens with a new concussion who had around 2.5 hours of daily screen time recovered 35% faster than those with more or less screen time. Researchers suggest that moderate screen time use keeps young people socially connected and mentally engaged, which may support recovery without worsening symptoms.
Experts say this is only one study and parents should consult a doctor. Inflation data comes out this week, says ABC's Dave Packer.
On Tuesday, we get the government's June Consumer Price Index data. Producer Price Index data comes out on Wednesday. That's a measure of how much products or services cost manufacturers to produce, and a closely watched measure of inflation. Compared to last month, the street expects no increase.
Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
A Washington man's visit at Yellowstone turns dangerous in an instant. But first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic with Ted Biener.
On westbound 512 near I-5, that crash has moved over to the right shoulder, and the backup there is recovering. And on eastbound 18 at the West Valley Highway, that crash is over in the right shoulder, and the backup down the hill to 167, that has thinned out. Elsewhere, in case you missed it over the weekend, the Revive I-5 Ship Canal Bridge project on the northbound lanes resumed. As a result, southbound I-5 still sluggish from 145th into downtown, thanks to the southbound express lanes again being closed. Lingering slowdowns elsewhere. Southbound 405 has got braking from before Canyon Park to the 160th interchange and from 85th to 520. Northbound 405 has got slowing from the Renton curves into downtown Bellevue. Some drive times. Everett to Seattle is an hour 5 minutes, while to Bellevue, that is an hour. Coming in from the south end, Federal Way to Seattle is east to 40 minutes. 27 of those are from South Center. Puyallup to Renton is 37 minutes, and Renton to Bellevue, that is 43 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text APP to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. I'm Ted Biener with KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. A Washington man is lucky to be alive after being attacked by a bison at Yellowstone National Park. The bison tossed 65-year-old Carl Issa McDaniel what looks like 10 feet in the air. This happened at a campground around 8:30 at night on Friday. Moments before the attack, he was taking photos of the bison with one of his grandchildren by his side. Here's the photographer that captured the attack on video. Mike McLeod talked with KTVQ in Montana.
My wife saw a bull bison come into the campground, and it was just walking, but there were these young boys standing by a tent, and they had their phones out, and for whatever reason, the bison, who was still like 50 to 100 feet away, just charged them.
We have video of that charge on mynorthwest.com. Yellowstone Park officials have yet to comment on the attack. Carl suffered broken bones, but he's in stable condition. A family day at Pike Place Market turned terrifying when a stranger tried to take a stroller with a baby inside. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Sun reports.
It'll happen Thursday morning. Officers say that suspect chased the mother and child into a shop. We're not naming the suspect right now because he has not yet been charged with a crime. The suspect made his first court appearance on Friday with bail set at $100,000.
An attempted kidnapping. That's really concerning behavior. That's why we saw prosecutors ask for the high bail amount.
That suspect is due to appear in court later today and could be charged then.
Today is the first weekday that Revive I-5 work is back underway after a pause for the FIFA World Cup matches in Seattle. KIRO 7 TV's Tyra Majors reports.
Road work has reduced northbound I-5 to 2 lanes across the Ship Canal Bridge, and that traffic pattern will stay in place through the end of 2026. Crews are repairing the bridge deck, replacing aging expansion joints, and other critical work. The Ship Canal Bridge carries nearly 240,000 vehicles every day. WashDOT says this preservation project is meant to extend the life of the bridge and help avoid more disruptive closures in the future.
Now to your KIRO News Radio weather. Sunny and warmer today and the next few days. No clouds this morning, but some isolated spots tomorrow and Wednesday. There is some upper level haze today, and there may be a little more haze tomorrow, which could impact air quality a little slightly. And we'll cool off Thursday with a chance for a few showers. Right now, it's about 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to all of you. Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out once again, and Angela Poe Russell is in. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ursula. I'm glad to be back.
Such a beautiful morning.
It is gorgeous.
I mean, we are spoiled with this weather. So
Yes.
we are going to... One of the things that I did this weekend is I had a chance to go to the Seattle International District, Chinatown. And we're going to be talking about that coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. At 9:30, you hear college grads saying all the time that AI is stealing entry-level jobs. But economists are warning that the real crisis may actually be the exact opposite. In this country, we're running out of workers for the jobs that keep society functioning. We're being told.
Of all the stories today, this one blew my mind. I am excited to talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Let's get to it. Our top stories brought to you by Pendergast Law. One of the big stories over the weekend, Seahawks are being sold for a reported $9.6 billion, which would shatter the NFL record and turn one of Seattle's most recognizable institutions over to a Silicon Valley family. The buyers are led by Vinod Khosla, who co-founded Sun Microsystems and later created Khosla Ventures. That is a venture capital firm known for aggressive investments in AI, healthcare, and emerging technology. And his wife, Niro Khosla, is an education entrepreneur and a nonprofit founder. And I don't know if you saw this. She's actually expected to serve as the team's controlling owner. And their son, Neil, is also going to take a major leadership role. The family already owns a small stake in the San Francisco 49ers, but they'll have to sell that before taking control of the Seahawks. And this deal, of course, still needs approval from at least 24 of the NFL's 32 owners, which could happen as soon as late August. What was your reaction when you read about this?
I was excited to know that there was finally a twist in the drama because we've been watching this since February, I'd say. And so I was excited to get the news. I was a little concerned. That was my initial reaction because what made the Seahawks so special is that this was a homegrown in terms of the ownership. Like you had Paul Allen, who had this legacy of innovation and had these passions, music and the Seahawks. And so this was an extension of the passion. My concern was, I'm like, is this just another investment in the portfolio? That was my first concern.
Yeah.
I'm excited by the idea that his wife, what was her name again? Is it
Niru?
Niru is supposed to be a lead on this. It has been a joy watching Jody Allen lead this team and this organization and see her show up with enthusiasm and maintain the culture. That was the key. I always feel like the Seahawks were a little different and that it was an extension of Washington and the culture here about our kindness and our connection to the community. And I think wins are important and also who you are is important.
I totally agree with that. What's interesting is, this is a name. Okay, I've got to call G out because G kept saying it's like the G in lasagna. If this name pops up, it's not going to be one of the eventual owners, right? Because he was like, it's tight-lipped, it's sealed, etc. Well, this was someone who was talked about.
It was one of the names.
Yes, this was one of the names. And like you, I was hoping for Melinda Gates, Mackenzie Scott, which, never had been even talked about. However, the fact that Niru Khosla is going to be the controlling owner, I do think that's interesting. So, one, but did you realize? Okay, Paul Allen bought the Seahawks for $194 million in 1997.
What a great investment, and now it's $9 billion. Like,
right? Okay, 9.612 billion, and I think the 1-2 is for the 12s. So that was thrown in there as a nod to the 12s. Okay, so here's a couple of other positives, in my opinion. Well, first of all, so 9.6 billion is 50 times the original price, right? This is the Washington Commanders were purchased for $6 billion in 2023. So this is a record. But what's also interesting as part of Paul Allen's wishes is that money that it will come from the team, the sale of the team, is going to go toward philanthropic purposes.
Okay. I'm thrilled. That's awesome.
Right? So that was like written into this deal. The other thing that I think is a positive is that there has so far, at least, been no announced demand for a new stadium, which would sour a lot of people on this deal if it was, okay, we've got a venture capitalist who, spent a lot of money, but now expects the public to throw in more money to help purchase a new stadium, when I think Lumen Field is perfectly fine.
Now, okay, I have to ask this. There were two other things that stood out. Did it surprise us that the buyer came from the tech world?
No.
A lot of us suspected that who has money right now, right?
Yeah.
It's anyone in tech.
Right?
That piece. Does it, I know some folks were like, he has this partial small ownership in the 49ers and was a season ticket holder. But do we feel any kind of way about him being connected to
the 49ers, our nemesis? No.
Okay. I mean,
no, not really.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear what you all think as you're listening. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. How are you feeling about this report that it's going to, if it gets the approval from the owners, would be going to this family from the Silicon Valley. So let us know what your thoughts are on that. The other big news over the weekend was the sudden death of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. He was only 71 years old, which, okay, I'm sorry, but that feels like just a... Right? That's young. That's too young. He was one of the most recognizable voices in Washington, had spent more than 2 decades at the center of some of the biggest debates over war, national security, and basically this country's role in the world. And a medical examiner says it appears his cause of death was a tear in his body's main artery related to hardening of the arteries. He was reportedly complaining that he wasn't feeling great just hours before his death, and he planned to see a doctor the next day. But even in his final hours, he was working. He was pushing for a major agreement to normalize relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel, and the plan was tied to ending the war with Iran and creating a path toward a Palestinian state. He had also just returned from Ukraine and was pressing for tougher sanctions against Russia. As you know, he began his career as one of Donald Trump's fiercest Republican critics and then became one of Trump's closest allies. So I guess, first of all, reaction to learning of his death, and then when history looks back at him, what is his legacy?
Two things. Well, first of all, my reaction may have been a little different than others. Maybe not. My first reaction was he a target in some way, just because he recently had additional security detail related to, what's going on in Iran. There were these multiple trips to Ukraine. He had just returned from Ukraine. So, of course, the part of me was like, hey, I know that when you're in these roles as a politician, you're a target. So that was my initial thing was this some kind of, planned thing that someone may have come at him in some way. But we obviously learned that was not the case. And it was interesting because I spent a lot of time watching the Sunday morning, Meet the Press.
Yes.
And President Trump was on there with Kristen Welker, and it was a great interview. And it was interesting to hear people that had been in politics for many years and were able to give this fuller picture of him. Mm-hmm. Because if you're like some of us, maybe you've been following news in the last 5 to 10 years and you know this one side of Lindsey Graham. But if you go back, it was a really interesting picture. Someone who was known for being a deal maker, being bipartisan. I mean, in 2013, working with Democrats, other Republicans on immigration reform. And at the same time, in 2016, like saying, I won't support Trump. And then turning. And then once again in 2021, after the Capitol riots, he was like, enough is enough. No more of this, not supporting, President Trump. And then now he died as one of President Trump's fiercest allies.
I want you to listen. You're exactly. It's almost like the tale of two Lindsey Grahams.
Mm-hmm.
So because he was known as one of the Senate's most bipartisan Republicans, and he worked across the aisle and built real relationships with Democrats. Listen to him in an interview talking about Joe Biden.
The bottom line is, if you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation. Because what's not to like? Here's what I can tell you. That life can change just like that. Don't take it for granted. Don't take relationships for granted. I called him after Bo died. And he basically said, well, Bo was my soul.
I mean,
what year was that?
That was 2016.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And you said exactly, because the look on my face was this shock about how he talked about Joe Biden later. It was just such a difference.
It was such a difference. And then listen to him here when he initially, so we have a compilation of Lindsey Graham comments about President Trump.
Race baiting, xenophobia. Donald Trump is the most unelectable Republican I've seen in my lifetime. He's not fit to be president of the United States. Bringing out the worst in us, disparaged women, religious bigotry, race baiting, xenophobia. He's a jack. No, I don't think he's a xenophobic, race baiting, religious bigot as president.
We have a man who has become a friend of mine. It's shocking, isn't it? He's a good man. Lindsey Graham, Lindsey.
I like the president. I want to help him. I hope he's successful. What President Trump has done is historic. Deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and then some. If you don't like me working with President Trump to make the world a better place, I don't give a So, I want to start with a bunch of thank yous. I want to thank the big guy, God. Trump comes later. Mr. President, you're not far behind God, but we're going to start with him.
So I think it's, first of all, I think it's unfair to reduce his entire career to that transformation.
Absolutely. He has, I mean, how many decades of serving? Yes.
Yes.
Right.
And I think, as you said, he is one of the most influential senators of his generation. And, maybe it ultimately comes down to the contradiction. He was once a more bipartisan deal-making figure, but he never stopped being effective.
Yeah.
I would say.
For me, when you look at, I think it's healthy when our elected officials are able to change their minds. My request is that when they do that, it's for good reason. And I don't know what the reasons were in here. I just know that he did have, for everyone who spoke about him yesterday, they agreed that he was the deal maker. And when you are a politician, I think that is one thing you can be proud of.
Text us, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. How did you react to the death of Lindsey Graham? The other thing that I guess surprised me, Angela, was I thought it was a typo initially. I was like, Mitch McConnell, there's been this practical death watch on him.
You know what? Same reaction. Same reaction when this news. I was like, wait a minute. Wait. This is Lindsey Graham.
We got the wrong one.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I had the same reaction. It's amazing all that when news like this happens, because I want to say it was like 1 a.m. when I first got the news.
Yeah, me too.
And it's amazing all the things that run through your head. And so first was like Mitch and kind of sorting that out. And then it was, like I said, whenever you have politicians, he just traveled from Ukraine. You've got this conflict with Russia. You've got conflict with Iran. I was just like, this is before we knew how he died, right?
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, what happened?
Right.
You have to be open to all the possibilities.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on. Because Howard Schultz may have moved on to Florida, but he continues to be on the warpath over what's happening here in our state. In his latest opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal, the former Starbucks CEO is warning that Washington state could lose the next generation of entrepreneurs because of higher business taxes, a struggling education system, and economic policies that favor massive technology companies over smaller startups. And he was pointing to Stoke Space, which is a Kent-based company that is developing reusable rockets, as an example of the kind of business that Washington should be fighting to keep. But he questions whether companies like Stoke will build their futures here or eventually pack up for states that they believe are more welcoming to business. In this opinion piece, he also unloads on state Democrats, particularly Governor Bob Ferguson and Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, who he calls inept and a socialist. And if you're keeping tabs, this is not Howard Schultz's first blistering critique, right? Because just 2 months ago, he wrote another opinion piece arguing that Seattle has become hostile to the very businesses that helped build it.
He has a lot to say. We need to get him on the show.
We do.
You know, there was so much that was said. Here is the thing that caught my attention.
Yeah.
I did not realize that we were, as a state, giving a bunch of subsidies to data centers. And here's why I'm really concerned about that. Because people talk about, oh, look at the money it's going to bring in when they build the data centers and the construction. But all the research has shown that the jobs are initially when they come in the construction. But then once they're set up, then it's not really creating jobs, whereas you may get some revenue to the state. So, but that doesn't help people. Whereas I think his point is that if you invest in these companies that are actually building something, like we have this legacy in the state of creating these companies that actually will have a payoff. And so I love that he mentioned this one. Was it called Stoke Space?
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you think, though, as someone who has left, I mean, he made his billions here in Washington state. Now he's, pooping on the state where he was able to be wildly successful, and now has moved to Florida. Is he the right messenger for this?
I absolutely think so, because he doesn't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah, I think it's easier for him to speak about
I think if he were still here trying to build something, you'd say, well, you're a little bit biased. At this point, I really do feel like he's speaking from conviction, whether you agree with him or not. I mean, no one can deny we have faced a huge budget crisis in the state. And at the same time, how do you keep encouraging people to build and create here? I mean, one of the articles I was talking about was this one manufacturing company that was Janicki, bred in Washington state and choosing to expand in Montana, and Montana specifically saying being attracted to our environment. I would like to think people like Schultz are not trying to get away from paying more, but it's how we thread that needle. You're laughing. I think it's how we thread that needle. We got to thread the needle. You got to thread the needle. But
I think it would be wrong to ignore what he says just because he moved to Florida, and maybe he's more free to talk openly about it because
he doesn't have a dog, right?
Well, he still does have a dog in the fight because Starbucks is still here. I mean, Starbucks still has a big footprint. I think a lot of the doom and gloom is exaggerated, but you cannot be ignored. I mean, there's absolute truth to what he's saying. I think his doom and gloom about the education system might be a little much, but there is even some truth into that too.
You think it's too much?
Well, I mean, he was using...
Or exaggerating.
It was. He was saying, complete failure of an education system. I mean, we just had the Seattle school superintendent talking about how Seattle School District in particular is actually faring, if you look at the numbers, is doing relatively well compared to other similarly sized districts.
So sensational in its language.
Yeah, but you know that's how you get the that's how you get the attention,
the Wall Street
right?
Journal.
Yes, exactly. Okay, still ahead, we are going to be talking about, speaking of jobs, why recruiters cannot find workers and new grads, and you can't just blame AI.
There's a whole other part of this story.
Yes, exactly. So we'll have that conversation coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
The Seahawks sold.
Selling price will be an NFL record $9.612 billion, according to ESPN.
What do we know about the new owners?
Vinod Khosla grew up in India, removed from technology.
I never even had a television or a telephone at home.
Has invested in a ton of companies you know of, Square, DoorDash.
Coverage continues on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net. Slow drain? Backed up toilet? Call Day and Night to save $100 off any drain cleaning.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. From a slow drain to a major backup, no drain is too big or too small. Whether we're your first choice or smart second opinion, I guarantee our experts will solve any drain problem, day or night.
Now get $100 off any drain cleaning. DayandNight.net.
You're in charge of ordering boxes. Small boxes, big boxes, really big boxes. You're in charge of tape, labels, mailers, bubble wrap, extra bubble wrap, just for fun. You're in charge of warehouse cleaning and safety supplies. Good thing there's Uline. Thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline makes it easy because you already do enough. Uline, we warehouse for you.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Hi, how can I help? Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager. I see. Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning? Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better. I feel better already. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Summer calls for road travel across our region. Have you noticed more vehicles on our highways and local roads? Obviously, traffic in the city is going to be crowded, especially with the Ship Canal Bridge construction. But there have been a ton more people heading north on I-5 and east on I-90 for weekends and holidays than again on Sundays coming home. More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you're one of the unlucky ones or know a friend or family member, reverse your fortune by having Herald Car Law Offices deal with insurance. While you're resting, receiving physical therapy, and taking time off work, Harold Carr Law Offices will negotiate with insurance on your behalf while compiling necessary paperwork and getting you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Carr is spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. CarLaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call Carr.
Clutter happens. Let Closets by Design save the day. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18-month 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pricing coverage match limited by state law.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. President Trump says the U.S. Navy blockade will go back into effect as Iran claims it has closed the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump said Monday he was reinstating the U.S. Navy blockade near the Strait of Hormuz and also claimed the U.S. would charge a 20% toll on all cargo shipped through that waterway, saying it was a, quote, matter of fairness. He didn't say how that would work or why the U.S. had the right to do that in an international waterway that he himself has said should be free for commercial travel. The president earlier today told Fox News the U.S. would take control of the Strait of Hormuz and get paid for protecting it. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
People living in part of the Lake Chelan area are being told to leave immediately because of a wildfire. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office has issued a Level 3 Go Now evacuation for homes along Columbia View Road and Atkins Heights Lane near Lake Chelan. All evacuation notices tied to the Chelan Hills fire had been lifted in Douglas County, just on the other side of the Columbia River. Sadly, that fire killed 1 person and destroyed 19 homes. Here's Douglas County Sheriff Tyler Yale.
To sum it up in one word, it's tragic.
As residents return, they're being asked to help keep a lookout for utility and construction crews in the area. That fire is now 100% contained. Boeing is touting its new production line for the 737 MAX in Everett.
The ripple effects will be felt across our entire community, supporting more than 1,100 local suppliers and small businesses that keep our regional economy thriving.
Boeing leaders say the Everett and Renton MAX lines will work as a partnership, with the new line in Everett having initial low-rate production to work out any kinks.
That was KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reporting. If you're heading to Leavenworth this week, prepare for a major detour. The Washington State Department of Transportation is shutting down a section of US 2 starting today. The 4-day full closure will run through Thursday to permanently fix severe flood damage. Crews are sending most drivers on a detour using State Route 207 and Chumstick Highway. Officials expect to reopen the road by Thursday night. A piece of Washington history is headed to the highway. Drivers will be able to purchase a new Mount St. Helens specialty license plate starting August 19th. The design honors iconic volcano while raising money for the Mount St. Helens Institute, which supports scientific research, education programs, and trail restoration. And now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. The crash on westbound 512 is almost clear. It was removed to the right shoulder. The backup there is getting better. Over on eastbound 18 at the West Valley Highway, that crash there finally gone, and Revive I-5 is back, so southbound I-5 is moving very slow this morning. This traffic report And you can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial 97.3 HD2. And for your weather, sunshine and warm temperatures today. No clouds this morning, but expect some clouds tomorrow and Wednesday. There could be some haze tomorrow and today, which could impact air quality. It'll be cooler Thursday with a chance for a few showers. Right now, it's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with Angela Poe Russell filling in for Gee. And if you've been listening to our show for any amount of time, you know that we talk about AI a ton, and so many stories about how AI is really having an impact on the job market, especially for recent college graduates. But there's a new article that makes the case that AI is not the main problem.
Exactly. It actually is a labor shortage, they say, is the main problem. So here's the issue: a mismatch between the jobs available and what people are actually trained to do. In this article, which came out in the Washington Post, it points to this study from the Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce that says it's so bad that the labor shortage could hobble our economy. Now, here's the other piece to the puzzle. Apparently, all the skilled workers that we have, many of them are retiring, and fewer young people are entering the job market because of declining birth rates. Oh. To put those in numbers, it's expected 18 million folks between 55 and 64 will retire, compared to 13 million younger workers entering the labor market with equivalent educational qualifications.
Ooh.
Some of the professions they're talking about: nurses, physicians, teachers, engineers, pharmacists, mental health counselors, construction workers, airplane mechanics. All right,
which are jobs, obviously, that you can't just say, okay, we'll have AI take care of this.
Yeah, I could see definitely in some of these roles, maybe we have physicians starting to use AI, but you still need physicians. You still need them, right?
Right.
Another thing, they talked about the semiconductor industry. It's projected to grow by 115,000 jobs. And the issue is people aren't getting into these fields. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says in many industries, if every worker now unemployed got one of those open jobs, positions would still be left unfilled.
Which is really not the story that we are telling right now. Because we keep talking about AI, and everybody is unemployed. So many young people are unemployed. It is really hard to get a job. There are no jobs. No, it sounds like there are jobs. It's just not the job that you perhaps went to college for and now are in debt for, because those are the jobs that have shrunk, the job pools.
Yes.
So what do you do? I mean, for one thing, if you are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to a school that's supposed to prepare you for the job market, I think it's incumbent upon these schools to be tracking in terms of what kind of education is actually going to help you get one of those jobs at the end of it.
They actually pointed out, they picked on business degrees. And it's funny because the person I know now that's a college graduate that hasn't found a job has a business degree.
Interesting.
From a really expensive college. But I also want to play devil's advocate and not just blame, because let's look at the other side of this coin and look at the fields you're needing. Oh, we need teachers. Okay, pay them.
Yes.
Physicians and nurses. Okay, you need some of those. How about you lower the barrier to being able to afford to go to some of these schools? My daughter recently was sharing that she wants to be a doctor. So I'm like, how much do these schools cost?
Yeah.
Girl, do you know how much it costs to be a doctor?
A lot. I know that they come out of medical school with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Most have about $400,000 in debt. Oof. So, yeah, most of the schools, unless you get accepted to one in state, I mean, you're looking at a minimum of 50 and most going about 100,000. But we're like, oh, we need doctors. So someone's going to sign up for that much debt, and they're going to sign up for 12 years of education. And when I get out, I'm not even making that much. We just did a report last week on the top 5 professions that are millionaires.
Yes.
And doctor wasn't on any of those lists. So if you want people in these roles, like you talked about the teachers, the pharmacists, physicians, nurses, you have to pay them.
Mental health counselors?
Oh, gosh.
They get paid dirt.
We know that there are so many people. Okay, I have to tell you a true story. Do I have time?
Yes.
My daughter was little, and she was in bed teaching her stuffed animals. And she said, I really want to be a teacher. And she's little, okay? She must be like 7 years. I really want to be a teacher, but how will I make money? And she goes, I guess I'd have to marry rich.
Oh, stop.
I mean,
oh, stop. She knew that at that.
Oh, no.
Yes. Where did she learn that
and
one?
Guys, this is a problem. If someone really wants to be a mental health counselor, if someone really wants to be a teacher, if we say we value them, then pay them. I mean, so.
Right.
And why would I go pay a bunch of money to go to college if I'm going to have a salary that's not going to pay that?
So, I mean, you bring up great points. The other thing that we were talking about actually during our morning meeting, which is you were talking about the healthcare industry, because have you all tried to get into a specialist?
Oh,
have you? Do you know how long the wait is in general?
I waited
for something?
6 months just to get an intern.
Seriously?
Yeah, I ended up getting a fellow. Yeah, who's gone now. Yeah, 6 months just to get into a headache clinic.
And amongst my care team, 2 of my doctors have retired. They chose early retirement.
Right, okay.
And I missed them already, by the way. And so you've got this exacerbated situation where you've got people leaving the profession because they're also frustrated, burned out, frustrated because there is such a shortage. Mm-hmm. So if you talk to any of your healthcare professionals, and then all these companies buying out other hospital systems, et cetera, and I mean the healthcare industry is in a rough spot.
The system's broken.
Yeah, it's not good. But then you've got people who are coming from foreign countries into the U.S., right? And taking, because a lot of people here can't afford going into medical school.
And this is where we're going to have a real conversation, y'all, because immigration is part of this story. Right now, we're functioning with 1 in 4 doctors in the U.S. now were foreign-born and educated. So we'd be in a worse spot if we didn't have them.
In fact, that's one of my doctors told me just that. It's like with all this immigration stuff, it has made it even harder because there are positions that are going unfilled.
Yeah, 40% of home health aides, immigrants. 30% personal care aides, 28%. And like I said, with doctors, 1 in 4. So what do we want to do?
Yes.
What are we doing? What's the goal here?
Yeah, text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Are we missing something? Like what else? We talked about you need to pay more, but are people willing to pay more when, I mean, our healthcare system is broken. It's already, if you don't have good insurance and you're paying out of pocket, forget about it.
Yeah, and we've tightened immigration during a time where we are having a shortage. So we're going to have to figure something out.
Right?
Yeah, because right now it seems like we're shooting ourselves in the foot on a lot of different areas.
But I'm just curious about this article itself, too. Like, if you are unemployed, what is the story that you keep getting when you apply for these jobs? What is the barrier for you? I mean, and how much of it is incumbent upon the colleges to keep up with the trends?
And I think that's why we're going to see more colleges close, because the math is not mathing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, still ahead, we are going to be talking about something called looks maxing. Okay, stick around because you're going to want to hear about this. It also has to do with more men getting plastic surgery. So we'll have that coming up, and we need to talk. Stay with us.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Reutin from the Gee and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the Gee and Ursula YouTube channel.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked In buildings, stay ready. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. A child recovering from surgery and the family struggling to put nutritious food on the table. That's why Seattle Children's, Safeway, and Seahawk, Jackson Smith and Jigba launched the Food First Project to fight pediatric food insecurity by providing grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs for families. No barriers, just help. 12s, we need you. Learn more at Safeway.com. Again, that's Safeway.com.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Wow, Sarah, these window coverings are gorgeous. Did you guys do this yourself?
No way. It's all Hunter Douglas. My local expert came to our home, brought samples, and helped us see everything in our actual light, then measured perfectly and handled the installation.
If you're planning a remodel, moving into a new home, or simply ready to elevate how your space feels, Westco Blinds, your neighborhood Hunter Douglas expert, offers custom, beautifully crafted window treatments thoughtfully designed for life. Whether it's blinds, shades, shutters, or drapes, our products fit your windows perfectly. And with smart home options, you control the light and privacy with a tap or on schedule. Hunter Douglas window treatments are an investment in quality, backed by a lifetime limited warranty and ongoing support from your trusted local expert, Westco Blinds. Call now to schedule your free in-home design consultation. Call 206-285-5455, 206-285-5455, 206-285-5455.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply, and retire like royalty? Then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
It is 9:49 here on the Gee and Ursula Show. And have you heard about this term called looks maxing? Because it's a thing. It is a thing. And have you ever heard of guys talking about getting cosmetic surgery or a lot of plastic surgery or some kind of procedure? Because Chef, you saw a commercial, or who was it who saw the commercial? That was okay.
So
you
me.
saw that. I remember one of you.
I want to
okay.
set whenever you want me to set it up. I can set it up.
Yes.
Okay, this set up perfectly. So in the commercial, this guy is having a meal with this young, hot girl. She appears to be maybe 15 years his junior. And so while they're having this dinner, she looks at him and notices his wrinkles. And the date is over. And the people in the commercial like, don't let this happen to you.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm so serious. And then he gets his face done, and now he's attracting the hot girls.
Oh,
this is on major TV? Like,
yes.
Oh,
on a traditional television. I don't know.
I need a makeover. Wow.
Okay.
But then you can see this young girl staring at him across the table, and she's like, this yikes thing, sees his wrinkles and like gets up. And
see, I mean, I know we're laughing, but it's sad messaging.
It is.
It really is. It's like you're supposed to be embarrassed because you're doing something that's natural, which is aging. Which, okay, maybe I'm a little more sensitive.
No, you're right. No,
given
you're
now
absolutely
I'm
right.
60.
I mean, they are experiencing what women have gone through for years, where we were given the messaging that our value was in how we looked.
Okay, so there is this article, though, in the New York Times. I was looking forward to you explaining it.
Absolutely, I can do that. So it basically says that procedures on men globally are increasing at more than 3 times the rate for women. They are the new market. Surgeons say what's likely driving this, social media. They point out Instagram and Zoom. These men are, like everybody, having to be on more Zoom calls depending on your profession. And there's actually an online form. You talked about it, the looks maxing. I did not realize how looks maxing works, but users upload photos of themselves to forums so that other men can scrutinize and rank their facial features. And once they're ranked, they try to improve and so that they can get more women. And jawlines are a concern, the width of their shoulders, and
eyes, bags under their eyes, wrinkles, the double chin, triple chin. I mean, I get it, and I don't fault anyone for doing tweaks and doing whatever it is. If it makes you feel better and you can do it in a way that's not life-threatening, you know, because some people take the whole plastic surgery to the max and will do things that are actually, you know, dangerous.
Yeah.
When you just get so obsessed with it that you feel like you can't get enough. It's like it becomes an addiction.
Yes. I don't know if you heard the case of the guy who was the looks maxing influencer, and he was vacationing in Thailand and he ended up drowning. And so I was like, what did this have to do with the looks maxing? Well, his friend said that he had been injecting, this is alleged from his friend, an interview, that he had been injecting liquid gold because he was convinced it was going to do something. And so what police in Thailand described is that he was acting erratically on the beach, and then they got there and he ran into the water, and it sounds like he was having a reaction to whatever. And police found syringes and pills. And so, yes, it can be taken way too far.
Well, I think it's taking it too far if you're having people tell you what you need, posting your face and having people tell you what you need to have done based on whose standard.
That part.
Well, it's an ever-growing standard because, you know, They say that one of the dangers of cosmetic surgeries, you start to notice all the other flaws that you have and thinking, oh, this can be improved upon. Well, you get all of that feedback crowdsourced to you immediately about every minor imperfection you have. And there's something larger going on than just, oh, hey, men want cosmetic surgery now. It goes into the manosphere.
Yes.
And the belief that there are basically two categories of men. There are the chads that get the women, and there are the incels and the rest of us losers who have no possibility of ever attracting the opposite sex. And this is a major driver of both online and in-person hatred towards women. And what you're seeing with this looks maxing amongst men is the manifestation of these online communities that divide men up into people who are valued by women in society and who aren't. And it exemplifies like the lengths that men are willing to go to fall into that former category.
Chef, it's such a great point. And it used to be when you'd meet people in person, you'd size them up for who they were and their vibe. And now women can look at an image and swipe left or right, and you're judged on your looks alone on these dating sites. And I don't think that helps.
You're vastly outnumbered in your ability to garner replies already online. Yeah.
Okay, y'all. That's just taking it to. I was gonna say taking it to a whole nother level. But again, it's also what women have had to deal with for so long. In some capacity. It's just, you know what? We need to have a movement. Wrinkles are sexy.
I love it. Call them something else.
Coming up next, we're going to talk about, I had a chance to go to the Seattle International District yesterday.
I want to hear about your experience.
Yes, and because there was a restaurant that recently said they're going to have to shut down because of all the things going on in the CID. And so I'll share what I observed yesterday.
Awesome.
We'll have more of the Gee and Ursula Show with Angelo Russell coming in.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity Medical Clinic?
No, I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but that why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explained this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying. But I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay. Are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage
blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
I'm Michelle Franzen. After a weekend of trading strikes, the U.S. and Iran announcing blockades on the Strait of Hormuz again. President Trump says the naval blockade on ships bound for Iranian ports will go back into effect. On Fox and Friends, the president signaled the U.S. would take control of the shipping waterway and should get a 20% toll.
Now we're going to guard it. We're going to get paid for guarding it. A lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger.
In Maine, according to multiple sources, federal immigration authorities were involved in a shooting in the town of Biddeford. On Facebook, Maine State Speaker Ryan Fecteau posted one person was killed. That shooting has led to protests. Homeland Security and the FBI have not responded to ABC's request for comment. Fans and fellow actors remembering Sam Neill, best known for his roles in blockbuster films like Jurassic Park and The Hunt for Red October, along with artistic films like The Piano. The New Zealand native was 78. This is ABC News. Kids 8 to 12 spend over 5 hours on their screens every day, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Now lawmakers in several states are struck upon a possible solution, require more playtime at school.
Quite literally by requiring 40 minutes of recess time compared to the previous 20. Norman, Oklahoma Assistant School Superintendent Holly McKinney has had to get creative.
We've taken parts of those times and integrated literacy into it, which freed up a few minutes for us to be able to do that second recess.
Other Oklahoma districts have added hours to the school day or days to the academic calendar. State lawmakers in Ohio and New York are considering similar mandates. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Some restaurants now changing their menus as a parasitic intestinal infection linked to produce spreads across the country. The CDC tracking cases of cyclosporiasis across 31 states from California to New York. To reduce your risk, wash all fruits and vegetables and refrigerate any produce that's been cut, peeled, or cooked within 2 hours. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
A violent bison attack at Yellowstone National Park. More on that, but first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. Your drive through Seattle is slower than usual today. That's because Revive I-5 is back with northbound I-5 reduced to just 2 lanes across the Ship Canal Bridge between State Route 520 and Northeast 45th Street. Other drive times right now, Federal Way to Seattle is going to take you about 36 minutes. Everett to Seattle is going to take you close to an hour. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. A 65-year-old Washington man is recovering after a violent attack at Yellowstone National Park. The bison tossed 65-year-old Carl Ilson McDaniel what looks like 10 feet in the air. This happened at a campground Friday night. Moments before the attack, he was taking photos of the bison with one of his grandchildren by his side. Photographer Mike McLeod, who captured the attack on video, talked with KTVQ in Montana. He says Carl had a sense of humor.
When he was down on the ground after things were settling down a little bit, I said, hey, you know, as a former U.S. Army paratrooper, I give that landing like a 9.5 out of 10. And he's like, well, if you just caught me 5 years ago, I could have done better.
Video of the attack is up now on mynorthwest.com. Carl is a community leader from Whatcom County who serves on several boards. A coalition of states led in part by Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is trying to stop one of the biggest media mergers in history. Brown and 11 others attorneys general are suing to block Paramount Skydance's planned purchase of Warner Brothers Discovery. It's behind movies like The Matrix, Dark Knight, and
Barbie in the real world. That's impossible.
If this got out, this could mean extremely weird things for our world.
The merger is valued at $110 billion. The lawsuit claims the deal would give the combined companies too much control over movies and cable television. A Tacoma man is facing charges after authorities say he started a fire Friday night in Kittitas County.
One person called 911 saying they'd seen a driver throwing something burning into the dry grass along State Route 821 by the Yakima River Canyon. Using that witness description of the driver and the car, authorities found the suspect using flock cameras. Took just a couple of hours to track down the 72-year-old Tacoma man at a gas station in Easton, where he was arrested on suspicion of arson.
That was KIRO 7 TV's Eric Thomas reporting. A volunteer firefighter lost his home in the Ryegrass Coulee fire while he was out helping defend other homes near Vantage. Morgan Howe says it's her friend Benjamin Stockdale.
When I talked to him, he was like, yeah, like everyone's safe. And I was like, you lost your home. And he was like, but everyone's safe.
Now neighbors and supporters are rallying around him.
You can't imagine how wonderful these people are and the family and friends we have.
People's prayers, support, love just means a lot.
Stockdale now begins the long process of rebuilding. The Mariners closed out the first half with an 8-2 win over Tampa Bay. They're off until Friday when the Giants come to town. Now for your KIRO News Radio weather. Sunny and warmer today in the next few days. No clouds this morning. There is some upper-level haze today, and there may be a little bit more haze tomorrow, which could impact our air quality. We'll cool off Thursday with a chance for a few showers. Right now, it's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. G is off. He'll be back tomorrow. Angela Poe Russell is in. Thank you so much for stepping in.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
It's always so fun. Coming up at 10:30, we are going to be talking about 5 reasons why couples fight on vacation. Are you someone who gets a little feisty on vacation?
I won't comment, but I will tell you this. I know folks when dating who often will not marry someone till they vacation with them.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So we'll talk about that coming up. We'll have some fun with that. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
So when was the last time you have eaten or gone down to Seattle's International District in Chinatown? And has it been a while for you?
It's been a while. It's one of those places I drive through and haven't stopped, except to maybe frequent, there's the Jackson Street station nearby.
Yes.
And so they have some art installations in there sometimes. So I go in there.
Sure.
But I haven't eaten there in a while.
Okay. So it had been a while for me too. And we used to go fairly regularly. And I was kind of asking myself, like, why haven't I been? And I wanted to bring this up because I did go yesterday with Mark, but and I'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know if you heard in our newscast that starting today, a very popular Seattle dim sum restaurant is going to be closing on weekdays.
For weekdays, weeknights, no one's here. No one dares to come by themselves.
That is Vin Zhao, who is the owner of Joyal Seafood Restaurant, which is on South Jackson Street. This is a massive restaurant. It has like 600 seats, so it's one of Seattle's biggest restaurants. And he tells KIRO 7 TV that crime is to blame.
They don't want to see homeless. They don't want to see drugs. They don't want to see people smoking, pee, poop all over the place.
So we did get a word because initially I think he was thinking of just shutting it down. And then it's like, no, the restaurant will open for weekend brunch and special occasions. But you remember last month, and during FIFA World Cup, when we were hosting, Mayor Katie Wilson promised to crack down on crime and put new investments in the Chinatown International District. And for a lot of folks there, they're like, I guess better late than never, but it was really cleaned up during the World Cup.
Oh, I remember going by that street, the infamous street,
12th and Jackson,
and being shocked. Like, whoa, this is cleared. There was actually a fresh garbage truck that was there. It was cleared out, and there were police standing there. It is absolutely unacceptable that we would put the burden of our societal problems onto a few streets in this city, and we all know them. The International District, Aurora Avenue, and there are a couple other places I could mention. And why is this? Why we keep settling for it? And I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall, and I feel for these businesses because the reality of why it's a place I often go through, it has to do with, I feel like I can find parking. The challenge with parking is I have to then walk through a bunch of really unsafe, it's not about homeless. We're talking about people who are doing drugs, smoking, trafficking, naked. I mean, this is... why are we tolerating this?
Exactly.
And
does this mean, and I want to be clear about something, because people will say, well, Ursula, you talk about how great Seattle is.
It is.
Seattle is great. I mean, you and I both live in the city. Seattle is great.
It really is.
But we have these pockets that are notorious. And yesterday I did drive by 12th and Jackson, and I made Mark go around again. And I said, okay, can you take some pictures, because I've got to document this. There were at least 50 people just on that corner of, and they were all in various stages of drug use. It was very obvious if they were not dealing, they were stooped over, or they were using. I mean, it was a horrible scene.
Yeah, but they're not hurting anybody, Ursula. They're not hurting anybody. So we should leave them alone.
Yeah, and I'm not demonizing. I mean, but I want to say that's unacceptable. Like you said, that's unacceptable.
If I'm a City of Seattle voter, which I am, I wouldn't elect anybody who wouldn't get on camera and say, I am committed to stopping this day one.
Yes. And how do you stop it? I mean, what would you say is the number one thing to do?
You're going to have to basically say, not this street corner, and you put, just like they did during World Cup, and it stays that way. But then the question, okay, where do those people go? Well, first of all, I would make sure that whoever I have teamed up with politically, if it's the city attorney, agrees that no, we're going to prosecute cooking drugs on the street. Because no, slap on the hand, you can't do that.
Yes.
Here. So, and if you don't want to get treatment, then this is where you're going to be. But that's a very controversial take.
No, it shouldn't be a controversial take. What do you think of the soda district or the soap districts?
It was
and
my
this, again,
understanding.
Stay out of drugs, stay out of
absolutely. I'm aware.
Yes.
But I think it's good to establish, because so that was a policy put in place by the prior city council.
Yes.
And then the new administration, the city attorney said that she wouldn't be enforcing those zones. That's the history as I know it.
Yes.
And the argument that some people make is that even though it was policy, it wasn't put into practice. My thing is, it was something that was there to try to address this issue.
Agree.
So if it isn't working, fine. We'll come up with another solution. And recently, our city attorney...
was it even used is what I want. It wasn't passed that long ago.
Right. It was pretty
new. So was it
new.
even given a chance?
Right. And the city attorney recently, I want to say it was it last month, outlined some steps. And I don't have those steps in front of me. But I guess my issue is, when you say that this doesn't work, have a potential solution for it, because leaving it the same isn't okay. And I think it's frustrating, Ursula. I was telling Chef, sometimes it's tough coming in doing the show, because you feel like, and I'm sure for all of you living it, if you live in these areas every day, or you get tired of us talking about things that are so obvious. And I'm not saying it's not complex, because when you are in these roles, you're not going to have the perfect answer. But you can't put the burden on small business owners who are trying to live and exist.
Yeah, if you have a 600-seat restaurant that is saying the crime around here is too bad. They're about 3 or 4 blocks away from 12th and Jackson, this particular business that we're talking about. And we did eat at a different dim sum place, and that one had a line out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And same with another one that we initially tried that also had a line out the door. So there are people who want to go on the weekends, but again, would I be okay if I had to walk by that spot on 12th and Jackson? No.
No, my daughter and I had to go in that area for, like I said, for an arts related thing. And we were literally like figuring out what street to go down to get back to our car and then kind of running a little bit. I mean, this was a weekday. Yeah.
Yeah. And you shouldn't feel like you have
in
to
the daylight.
Run in the daylight. I mean, and another, you talked about there are certain corners, 3rd and Pike and 3rd and Pike. I mean, so that area again, it went away during World Cup and then it becomes a problem area. And again, that's not everything, and I get it. Big cities have problems, but we need to do better. So I could completely see the point of view of this restaurant owner. So it was like, I can't make it work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's unfortunate.
I feel for them. And I have to point out, this is a neighborhood comprised of businesses that are owned by people of color. This is the International District.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowing your policies or lack of a plan to deal with it to impact them negatively. I don't think this should happen to anybody, but then you put it on this neighbor. It's just, it's ick all the way around for me, as the Gen Zs would say.
But I want to say too, yes, I want to say though too, that there were areas of the International District that were very walkable and felt very safe.
Absolutely.
And it's just address those areas that are particularly bad.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, because to be clear, I love living in the city of Seattle. I really do. Me even
too.
When I think about retirement, I don't see myself wanting to, well, I go somewhere during November, December, maybe. But in general, love living here. And I just know we can be a lot better.
Absolutely. Agree. Well, we talk about addiction. I mean, we just talked about it right now. And we always talk about how addicts need treatment, whether it's by choice or not. And where do they go? So I was thrilled to actually see in the Seattle Times that they were saying that King County is about to get a big boost. There's a new drug and alcohol treatment center on Vashon that's going to be opening soon, and that will increase the number of treatment beds for patients on Medicaid in King County by 50%. And they're expected to begin taking in patients in mid-August. So it's the Thunderbird Treatment Center. It's built by the Seattle Indian Health Board. It's going to have 92 beds for patients. So right now, there are only 187 beds available in the county for patients on Medicaid who need drug treatment. So while the center is going to prioritize indigenous patients who are 6 times more likely to die from an overdose than the rest of the population, the treatment will be open to anyone.
And that is a huge challenge, is having enough spaces for people to go who, well, first, like I said, going back to the policy, you have to be able to have a way to get them there, right? And King County has established these urgent cares for mental health, I call them, the crisis care centers, which are great. We have like 2 of them now, but we aren't meeting demand. And what is crazy is this was something that I remember, was it in the last decade, we were cutting that from our state budget? I mean, we're Monday morning quarterbacking, right? We kind of need to double down on it. But yeah, it's a huge, we have to put the investments in, but we also have to put the guardrails in place to make people say, you know what? It's uncomfortable out here enough that I want to get help.
Yes. Agree. Fernando in Seattle said, so what is the solution? We have to do better, doesn't do anything. And he's absolutely correct. So one of the things that we need to do better is increase the number of treatment beds, first of all, because I am of the belief that if someone is openly using drugs, openly selling drugs on the street of Seattle, they should be arrested.
Right. And if that wasn't clear to Fernando, let's make, So
they should be arrested. We should have, we should be enforcing our soap and soda policies that were just passed by a previous council. We should have enough police officers. We need to have enough police officers to do the work and actually have charges filed when they do the work. And when I say charges, it's not just, I get it, drug addiction and the cycle of addiction and all that goes into that. Mental health. We need more mental health treatment. We need more drug beds.
But if you arrest them,
that's going to stop the cycle.
Yeah, they have and then having some place to go. But those are things you can do day one, Fernando, and to make it clear. When we say do better, there are things that they can do day one to make a difference.
That they're not currently doing. Absolutely. And it should be like hair on fire urgency versus, well, let's just clean it for the World Cup, make it look good for now, and then they're back.
Yeah, there was this, I think we should try to get him on the show. There is this guy in Seattle. He's, I don't want to reduce him to one thing, but let's just say he's an influencer, but not in the, in the business world. And he was talking about his personal experience of his sister, dealing with addiction and how the policies of letting them just be was not effective and actually, hurt them. So I just think there's overwhelming evidence and overwhelming personal stories that say this is not the compassionate route.
No, it's not compassionate. What I saw yesterday on 12th and Jackson, that's not compassion. That is complacency. That is just allowing chaos. And these people's lives look like, it was so sad. It was heartbreaking and also infuriating at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it shouldn't just be the norm. It shouldn't be I was worried. I was watching a woman walking across the street, and she was in such a stupor. She was in such a drug-induced state, and she was completely crouched over, and she was trying to cross the street, and a car was coming, and I felt like she was about to fall backwards into the car. I had to stop and it was trying to first of all, try to figure out what can we do? And I kept telling my husband, it looks like she's literally going to fall in the middle of the street.
Isn't that wild that in this city, both of us could tell stories like that? I had one outside the theater one day. There was a man who was dying. Overdosing, and fortunately someone walking on Green Lake had what's that, is it called Narcan, where you had some Narcan and was able to intervene. But fortunately someone had that.
Right. And thankfully more and more people are carrying it, but again, it shouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this story just with a couple minutes that we have, because did you see the video of this Whatcom County guy who was attacked by bison at Yellowstone National Park? Did you see that?
I did see that video. That was, oh my gosh.
Scary. Okay, so the video shows this gigantic animal tossing 65-year-old Carl Isa McDaniel, and it looked like he went at least 8 feet in the air. This happened on Friday night at a campground. He was taking pictures of the bison with one of his grandkids nearby, and photographer Mike McLeod captured the attack and spoke with KTVQ in Montana.
My wife saw a bull bison come into the campground, and it was just walking, but there were these young boys standing by a tent, and they had their phones out, and for whatever reason, the bison, who was still 50 to 100 feet away, just charged them.
And it's not because he was trying to touch this bison, or he didn't walk right up to it.
He had a picture from a distance. He was taking a picture from a distance.
Yes, so there was a distance between them.
Apparently that really agitated that bison, even that far away. You saw, as soon as the bison stood up, the grandfather's like, no, we're out of here.
And so other campers managed to distract the bison until it finally moved away. But not after not until after that attack, and park rangers were able to rush him to a nearby hospital. He has broken bones, but even while he was on the ground, apparently Carl had a sense of humor.
When he was down on the ground after things were settling down a little bit, I said, "Hey, as a former U.S. Army paratrooper, I give that landing a 9.5 out of 10." And he's like, "Well, if you just caught me 5 years ago, I could have done better."
Aw.
Wow. Thankfully, he's in stable condition.
You know what's interesting? Yes. You know what's interesting about the phone? Because he said for some reason that bothered the animal.
Yeah.
Taking a picture. I don't know if you've had this experience, but I remember one of my daughters going off to summer camp. And so for 3 weeks, she had no access to any device for 3 weeks. And when she came back and stared and looked at a screen, it was agitating and irritating, and it was jarring. And I just wonder, I don't know, it just makes me wonder what that experience is like for, they're like, what is that, right? Like,
yeah, I don't want to find out. My husband and my son went hiking this weekend, and they sent me a video while they're hiking of a bear. Okay, we talk about bears on the show. Like, thanks, but no thanks.
Okay, Liz in Gig Harbor said it's mating season for the bison.
It's true.
I did read that.
It's true.
She's
right.
So how far back are we supposed to safely say? Because he seemed far back enough.
I am just not stopping.
Trying to save myself from the horny bison or whatever.
That said, Yellowstone's great.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
Subscribe to the Jake and Spike YouTube channel and watch live or later.
I have two big gripes from my coworkers who I thought were friends, but I'm realizing are just a bunch of jerks. I had about 10 conversations with massive amounts of green salad stuff.
Oh, no, nobody told you?
In my teeth. I'm a common man. I like having conversations.
Yeah, and didn't bother to tell
Why
me.
didn't they just say something? I wouldn't take it as an insult.
Jake and Spike, noon to 3 on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Costs are up, but life doesn't have to slow down. Subaru of Puyallup has fuel-efficient, all-wheel drive models meant for summer road trips. Experience the redesigned Subaru Outback. Bold, safe, more capable. For stress-free pricing and offers, visit SubaruofPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
After the mild winter we just had, forecasters are predicting above average temperatures this summer across western Washington. If your home is struggling to stay cool, your attic could be the culprit. Jake Skorheim here. Poor insulation or no insulation in your attic can account for up to 40% of the heat gain in your home over the summer. That puts a load on your air conditioner, and it can leave you sweating. Fortunately, Valentine Roofing has you covered. This summer, bundle energy-saving attic insulation with a new roof and save 10%. That's better comfort, improved energy efficiency, and less strain on your cooling system. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Valentine Roofing for roofing, attic insulation, and complete home protection because every project comes with the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. Plus, with no money down on your project, you don't pay until your project is complete. Call 206 Roofing to save 10% when you bundle a new roof and attic insulation. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Nearly 1 in 4 people killed on the road in Washington weren't driving. Pedestrians on our roads are incredibly vulnerable, whether they're facing drunk, drugged, drowsy, or distracted drivers. Pedestrians are defenseless on our streets. That's why Davis Law Group fights for pedestrian accident victims and their loved ones after a crash. Davis Law Group delivers. So if you or a loved one have been injured, call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888 or visit davislawgroupseattle.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Les Schwab Tires has been proudly serving communities for over 70 years, and we've collected thousands of inspiring stories. Like Kate, who was off on a long road trip with her best friend when the dash lit up like a game show. They find the nearest Les Schwab. Turns out they really needed an oil change. It was done in a flash. Road trip saved. At Les Schwab, we're proud to keep you rolling. Les Schwab Tires. Our greatest story is yours. Stories are composites inspired by real customer feedback.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Closet.byDesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. A second American has tested positive for Ebola after working with the humanitarian aid group in the Congo, where more than 600 people have died. Here's ABC's James Longman.
This new case comes just weeks after an American doctor, Peter Stafford, was infected and flown to Germany for treatment. He's since recovered and is now back in the States. Researchers are working to develop a vaccine for this rare and distinct strain.
Oil prices are up 4% to start off the week, around 75 cents a barrel. Gas buddy analyst Patrick DeHaan blames escalating Middle East conflicts and Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil refineries.
Because Russia tends to be an exporter of those products. But now, in very rare form, Russia has blocked the export of those products to keep the fuel that they're producing within their own borders. And that's having an impact globally.
He spoke with Seattle's Morning News. Seattle drivers are still catching a break. Gas is down 9 cents to about $5.20 a gallon. But DeHaan warns most other states are already seeing prices rise, and Washington will likely follow. A violent suspect is in custody in Olympia after a SWAT standoff at an apartment building over the weekend. Police say he hit a woman in the head with a propane tank at a homeless encampment last week, causing injuries that could leave her permanently disfigured. He barricaded himself inside an apartment and refused to come out. A police canine took him down. He's facing felony assault and arson charges. A family day at Pike Place Market turned terrifying when a stranger tried to take a stroller with a baby inside.
It'll happen Thursday morning. Officers say that suspect chased the mother and child into a shop. We're not naming the suspect right now because he has not yet been charged with a crime. The suspect made his first court appearance on Friday with bail set at $100,000.
An attempted kidnapping, that's really concerning behavior. That's why we saw prosecutors ask for the high bail amount.
That suspect is due to appear in court later today and could be charged then.
That was KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun reporting. Governor Bob Ferguson is unveiling a new educational proposal today to visit the Highline College in Des Moines. Ferguson will be joined by educators, business leaders, and students as he announces the legislative plan. That press conference is set for 12:30 this afternoon. And now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. Southbound I-5 from Everett to downtown Seattle is running about 32 minutes right now. Northbound from downtown to Seattle to Everett is about 31 minutes. And if you're headed around the east side, expect about 50 minutes on 405 from Alderwood to South Center to compare to 42 minutes if you're taking I-5. Northbound I-5 across the Cypress Canal Bridge remains reduced to 2 lanes because of Revive I-5. So expect delays through Seattle. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio. And for your weather, sunshine and warm temperatures today. There could be some haze tomorrow, which could impact your air quality. It'll be cooler Thursday with a chance for a few showers. Right now, it's 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell is filling in for Gee today, and we're going to be talking about vacation. A lot of you are going on vacation. If you are in a relationship, are you someone who actually gets into more fights when you're on vacation?
We're good. We travel really well together for the most part. We have one area of conflict, but it's usually the same one. And yeah, so I feel like we travel really well together.
I loved how you said one area of conflict. What does it have to do with?
Oh, man.
Can you share? I'm being nosy.
You know, I think in the airport, some people turn into different people.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yes.
Airport divorce.
It's stupid.
No, seriously.
Because I'm like a toddler. I'm like, take your time, walk, no rush to get on the plane. And my husband is like, I-10, by-10, let's go. We're on a mission. It's that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But no, we after 6 months of dating, we went on our first trip together. Oh my God, we just travel well together.
That's great.
It's smooth. But there was this article that came out and really highlighted that many couples really do have a problem traveling. And they identified the reasons why. So I thought I would outline a few of these. This was a Vice article. They said the first one has to do about our expectations. So you dream up, we've been saving for this, we've been planning, it's our dream getaway. And then when stuff goes wrong, you just get grumpy and you start turning on each other. So the expectation. So that's one thing we can all do is maybe just, all right, we're going on a trip. Let's see what happens.
Yes.
That was the best advice I got one time. A therapist said, just go into it with, let's see what happens.
Go with the flow.
Yes. Go see what
just
happens.
Expect the unexpected.
Yep, exactly. Because that's travel, right?
Yes.
Reason number 2, this is a huge one. You're just not on the same page. One person wants to sightsee all day, and one person is like, I just want to read a book by the pool.
Amen.
I mean, that's a common deal. Have you, okay.
Oh, no,
Ursula, I'm looking at you.
No, that's completely how Mark and I travel. But it works for us. Why? Because if he wants to see every museum, I let him go see as many museums as you want. I may pick a couple or I may see a few of the churches, but give me a beach.
With a book and a, right.
I know, or a pool.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, maybe I just want to check out mentally.
As opposed to go.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then see, Mark should have been a historian. I mean, he's a lawyer, but his dad was a history professor. He just loves learning about history. And I can do it to a point, but then after a while, I just start zoning out.
You might as well not be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to rush him through his thing, and I don't want him to be bored. So we will, on vacation, sometimes find our own things to do. Well, and then we come back together for certain things like meals or whatever.
Well, little did you know that, according to this article, that is the wise thing to do, because they said the other big reason couples fight on vacation is that there's too much togetherness. They said there is a ceiling for togetherness that when you're there on when you're home, you can take these natural breaks. You go to work, you have your activities, things you do. But when you're traveling, it's 24/7. You're sharing one hotel room. And so actually being okay with, hey, you go do this, I'm going to do that, and we will return together is actually a very healthy coping strategy.
But we paid for this vacation.
Well, you can
it's
just
a
do some
vacation
things
for
together.
us, right? And some couples like you are lucky enough to recognize and enjoy that. Oh, I'm going to spend time by myself at the museum, and honey, you stay back at the hotel pool. But a lot of other couples, that's not exactly like my wife. She wants to do. She'll have 4 items on the itinerary list, and there's more. still on the list. And I stop at 4, right? I'm like, no. That's way too much. Because what happens
And then do you get in an argument over
it? Travel has been travel and vacations, and it starts with packing. Okay, so, I mean, do you...
That's another one.
Do you ever have trouble fitting everything in the car if you're going on a car vacation? And do you really need to bring that?
Okay.
That crazy
thing? You're young in the game, Chef. Dang. You're young in the game. You need to let that go. Let her take as much stuff as she needs to take, and
12
just that ain't
pairs
the
of
one.
shoes is fine.
That's not the hill to die on.
But
now,
why do you care about how many shoes she has? Like, are you sharing luggage?
Well, we're not taking flights generally, and so when we have to pack, like, my stuff and her stuff and the kids' stuff, and do they need 4 boxes of toys? Or should they be able to manufacture their own entertainment wherever we're at? Like, these are dilemmas.
You're not going to win that one. Now, the other one, she's a veteran married person.
I lose either way. I think that's the...
No. So, Chef, so Ursula, I'm going to let you advise him.
Pick your battles. Yeah, like in the grand scheme of things. So there's a little more space taken up in the car, right? But
it's packed to the rafters.
It's packed to the rafters.
No, it's like what's coming, what's leaving. It's over full.
We're going into an Ask Ursula segment now.
I know. Because I don't want you to feel like, you shouldn't feel like you don't have a voice, but she also shouldn't feel like you just want to say no because you want to say no to something when it's really not a big fat deal. Are you making too big of a deal of something?
And somehow I always get the smallest suitcase for some reason. But we have 4 suitcases. I get the little one. I'm responsible for packing things for the little one in my suitcase. Now, how does this work out, Angela, with you, if you're such a laissez-faire traveler? Because there are going to be points where you hit traffic.
Yes.
Or, if you're traveling like internationally, there are going to be issues that crop up with, hey, we missed the taxi or we missed the bus. Like, what about the stress difference?
Oh,
because I'm a big stress person.
Okay, I'm on time. I'm just not like barreling through. Like, I'm just, all I can tell you is it's very similar to how we hike. If we hike, he wants to just go, and I want to stop and look at the view, take a picture.
So you let him go and you...
No, hike. We kind of have to... He kind of
go on the... I kind of have the pace.
He's terminally frustrated while you're taking pictures of the wildflowers.
It's a very we compromise.
It's a delicate balance.
But let's go back to
and
you.
Compromise.
No, back to you.
So, does it end up being something that makes traveling very stressful then?
Historically, traveling has been very difficult for us. And one thing that's helped is to realize, like for me to admit and realize that travel is a high anxiety experience for me, right? And so all of my emotions are up here.
Up already.
The kids' emotions are up here.
Yes.
Mom is in charge of managing those. And so to be able to have conversations like, hey, I'm actually freaking out right now because of, the plane situation or the airport's packed or whatever it is. And so if I can just say that out loud rather than exploding.
Yes.
Because otherwise at some point there's going to be an explosion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to say it out loud.
Communicate your way through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that absolutely. Don't bottle it up. I mean, I told you that our last cruise, our luggage did not make our flight, and Mark was stressed out. And then he was considering us staying at the airport
to wait for the
next flight to come in with our bags. I'm like, no, we're getting. And I tried to be more of a calming influence to him because he is usually the person who has all of it together. He carries our passports. He does all that. But when something goes awry,
he's planned it all. He's packed perfectly.
Yeah, he's
he
a
does
great
not
packer.
have all the stuff.
But
let's just go.
But in that situation, I was like, we'll just go on the ship. They're going to figure it out. This happens. And it all worked out. And I think he got a little more worked up about that than I did.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell him, like, we can leave this airport and we'll just trust that our luggage follows us eventually.
Yeah.
Did they reimburse you for all the clothes?
They gave us
stuff
$50.
$50?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, just for one day. It was one day.
Oh, it was one day.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we were just out
pretty
one
good.
day.
But the bottom line for people, if you have a partner and you struggle to travel together, the big thing is to communicate before about expectations, come into an agreement before, and check in mid-trip to
Yes.
see if there are any frustrations building up.
Yes,
So,
but yes, communicate. Just talk about it before it blows up. Because once you have that blow up, it's hard to come back from that.
No, you got us lost.
Oh no!
that's the other thing.
Not
You
that
cannot
one.
do that. You cannot.
No. Well, because what does it do? Like,
You
how
have
does
to
it
offer
help?
grace. You have to
Yes.
offer grace.
Yeah, because then it's going to be, well, then you drive next time.
Yeah.
There's no room for grace with the kids screaming.
Okay, we are going to solve more problems coming up in scenarios. That's next.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
When the heat's an 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net. Stay cool this summer with a new AC or heat pump from Day and Night. And with installation, you'll get a free furnace.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Get a new AC or heat pump now from Day and Night to stay cool this summer. Plus, with installation, you'll get a free furnace.
dayandnight.net.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about summertime. Bikinis, the occasional Speedo, sunshine, and almost always more drinking. But don't let the wine coolers or hard lemonades fool you. Too many drinks at the beach can get you in a whole lot of trouble. You're sporting a farmer's tan, but the police are wearing heavy, dark uniforms. And it's not because they're comfortable. If you don't take preventative measures, your summer tan can become a costly burn. Take a designated driver with that aloe vera and SPF 50. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to set up a free private consultation. Jail is no place to ask, missed a spot? Mind getting where I can't reach? Be reasonable this summer. And always remember, 1-800-DUI-AWAY has your back.
1-800-DUI-AWAY! Jason Rance here with Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. Greg, there are a ton of national advertisers offering services similar to yours. Why shouldn't I go with one of them?
National firms are an interesting phenomena, if you will, because I hear from clients that tried them initially, and they tell me these stories that are just really hard to believe, Jason. They'll call, and the person that they're talking to is really a salesperson. They don't really know the tax resolution business at all. They're trying to make a sale. And so they overpromise, and they'll hook them with a very low initial fee. Then when that case starts moving down the road, all of a sudden the person's getting a phone call. Oh, you need to pay us thousands of dollars to get this thing done. And they tell me sometimes it never gets done.
So it's a tax resolution scheme without any of the resolution.
I really believe part of it is.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn with None Better Tax Resolution. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Nick, you know what my dad always used to say?
Oh, which thing? Let me guess. If you put anything on a hot dog besides mustard, it's un-American?
Okay, that's true. Okay, but no, about the word worry. Remember what he used to say about the word worry?
Yes, that it's not a verb, but it actually actually is.
I know it's a verb, but Nick, his point was nothing comes from worrying. You can sit here and worry about all the news and all about the chaos in the world. You worry about your health, but nothing comes of it. You have to take action.
Right.
Like, for instance, you and I, we go into Longevity Medical Clinic. That's an action. It's about taking that action. Like, people can go to Longevity Medical Clinic, take the free health analysis, and then they can find out how they're aging and the things they can do in order to slow down the process to have a big, full, rich life so you can enjoy a hot dog with whatever you want on it.
And now worry is a verb.
See, there you go. So it all starts for you taking action. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. Safeway and Jackson Smith & Jigba are fighting back with the Food First Project. No barriers, just help for families right now. Learn more at Safeway.com.
Tune in to The Money Professor with Chris Longworth.
Having some certainty about your plan is definitely going to give you all the advantages.
Chris has the heart of an educator.
If you really want to do this correctly, then you get to enjoy every day of retirement like it's a Saturday. And if you don't, it's a Monday for the rest of your life.
Tune in to The Money Professor with Chris Longworth, Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out. Angela Poe Russell is filling in, and it is time for scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
All right, this one, this is a parenting one from Slate. Saw this morning. My 16-year-old son is a prodigy in a certain sport. From the age of 6, it was clear to me that he had incredible talent, and I worked hard to give him access to the coaches and training that helped him thrive. He's still a few years away from being old enough to go pro, but he is on the path. It is definitely happening for him, and I couldn't be more proud. The trouble is that he decided he wants to quit. This has come out of the blue. He's never mentioned being unhappy before. He had a break from competition over the summer, though of course he was still training, but this week he asked us to sit down with him, told us he has made a decision, and asked us to respect it, then said he is done with the sport. I've tried to talk to him to understand what's going on and how we can fix it, but he says his decision is final. Being a professional in his sport has been his dream since he was a child. Quitting now just simply doesn't seem like an option, and he'll regret it for the rest of his life. How can I get him to reconsider, Angela?
This is a tough one, and I know I've experienced it personally. I know many other parents. Oh, absolutely. I absolutely have experienced this. And I've had especially when you have a kid that has the talent. Like, they have the talent. They could literally go get a scholarship. They could go D1. They have the talent.
This is brand new. I have no
Oh,
experience.
God. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is, when you see someone that you know, like, has the talent,
Yeah.
you're like, and you want to do what instead? What do you want to do? And this happens all the time to kids and adults. And what I would recommend, because I have seen stories from athletes who wanted to quit and they had someone convince them otherwise, and it worked out great. What I would say is, hey, son, because it's son, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Respect where you are. Our only ask is have this conversation. I would get a third party, like whether it's a mentor or someone else, to talk through with them the consequences of the decision and what they might be going through. And if that third person or the third party they both respect, you know, if they still feel the same way after getting that person's feedback, I think they need to let it go. Kids have to choose their path, especially at that age. But I do know cases where, like, even what's her name, the gymnast Gabrielle Douglas quit and was able to get talked back into it. Was so glad that she didn't quit. So you have to it's a fine line, and I'd say give one last shot with a third party. If it doesn't work, let it go.
I like that idea. I think, okay, and if we are to base it purely on, you know, how it's presented in this article, I think there is a danger of pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where you see it, you taste it as the parent, but if your child is no longer into it, and maybe you said, you know, he's always wanted this, but maybe he is not articulated. He had a first sense of freedom, quote unquote, with taking the summer off, and was able to see like there is life outside of this particular sport that I really enjoy. And because I've been doing this sport and been so singularly focused on this, I have done that to the exclusion of all these other things that make me feel like a more well-rounded person. And I think that you have to respect that. And maybe he comes around back to it on his own, and maybe that break is going to actually be an even better thing for his future as a pro athlete. And I know it doesn't always work out that way, because, you know, taking a break might mean he falls behind and then doesn't have those opportunities. And if you've talked all of those things through, and I like the idea of bringing in a third party, but ultimately he's the one who has to make that decision. And you cannot live, as parents, live vicariously through your child.
But we do, don't we?
You know, for me, there are people who live vicariously through their child. But then from my perspective, where the lens I'm coming from is you realize you're walking away from opportunity. Because I don't care how good your grades are, schools value athletics. We actually have I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
that
mean,
is so pathetic.
Am I
it's
lying?
true.
Am I lying?
Yeah.
No, you're not lying.
Am I lying?
No, you're not lying. But
That's-
in my ideal world, I want to think that schools still value the academic portion too, and you can still get scholarships through the academic portion.
But the numbers show us.
Yeah.
The numbers will show us differently. That sports are a different path. I also think it's good for them to be involved in sports, but it is good for them.
Yes.
People. I love that there are so many people on the text line who have had these exact experiences. I feel pretty strongly you cannot force. But I do think try everything you can to help them see differently.
Yes.
And talk to someone that they respect.
What do you say, Nick?
Well, you know, I've been young before, too, and know that my hopes and dreams came in waves from one interest to another. But it's a different perspective of someone else's goals when what they're working towards is very attainable and there's a special talent within. Like this kid who's got a knack for the sports they play. And as much as it hurts to see the promise being walked away from, it comes down to him ultimately finding what he really wants to get out of life.
Do what you want to do.
Who knows, though? He could have a different hidden talent that hasn't been shown as much he's driving towards. Regardless, if he's happy, then everybody else should be, too.
Love it. I mean, ultimately, it is his happiness that should be the focus. And I know you're wincing a little bit only because I also understand parents put in so much money and time and all that training. And you're like, oh, well, that's going to go to waste if your only ultimate goal was for him to become professional at it.
Yeah.
Sunk cost fallacy.
Interesting. I don't even think of any time that I spent during those years as wasted at all. Like, for me, it was like, you had a great time.
Exactly.
It was great. Like, that's, none of it is wasted. It made you who you are. Mm-hmm. And all those years that this kid played sports will carry into life and he'll do well.
Absolutely.
But I will tell you this, more than likely he'll regret. Sorry.
Okay, look at Alyssa Liu after walking away from figure skating. And that's what I'm thinking of. She went away and then she comes back and wins a gold medal. And that could happen. Okay, more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah. Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Senate lawmakers returning this afternoon following the sudden death of Senator Lindsey Graham. Preliminary findings from the medical examiner shared by the 71-year-old's office shows Graham died from a tear in his aorta stemming from heart disease. The GOP-led Senate also dealing with the absence of Senator Mitch McConnell, who was hospitalized last month. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
For 4 weeks, Mitch McConnell's office did not disclose his health condition or why he was hospitalized. But then yesterday, they released a photo of McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao, and a statement from McConnell explaining that he had a fall, he was briefly unconscious, and then he was treated for a mild case of pneumonia. He was then moved, McConnell says, from the hospital to a rehab facility.
The U.S. and Iran trading strikes and now blocking the Strait of Hormuz again. President Trump, in an interview with Fox and Friends, says the U.S. will become the guardians of the strait and charge a toll. That uncertainty driving stocks lower today. This is ABC News. Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo continue to rise. Health officials say more than 600 people have been confirmed dead so far. A second American now testing positive for Ebola. ABC's James Longman has more.
The CDC has confirmed another American has been infected with Ebola, a humanitarian worker in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Health experts are racing to contain this deadly virus. The CDC has characterized this particular outbreak as spreading substantially faster than previous Ebola outbreaks in recent years.
Fans are remembering actor Sam Neill following his death. His family did not state the cause of death, but earlier this year, Neill revealed he was cancer-free after undergoing groundbreaking treatment following a years-long battle with blood cancer. He became a worldwide star for his roles in The Hunt for Red October, The Piano, and Jurassic Park. Sam Neill was 78. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
All evacuation levels have been lifted in Chelan, but first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. Southbound I-5 from Everett to downtown Seattle is running about 33 minutes right now. while northbound from Federal Way to Seattle is about 31 minutes. Over on the east side, expect 22 minutes from Bellevue to Linwood on 405 with heavier volumes through Kirkland and Bothell. SR 520 and I-90 are both moving at near normal speeds across Lake Washington. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Firefighters have stopped the spread of the transfer fire burning near Lake Chelan. The fire quickly grew to about 35 acres in heavy brush behind the health hospital there. No injuries have been reported. A Washington man is lucky to be alive after being attacked by a bison at Yellowstone National Park. The bison tossed 65-year-old Carl Issa McDaniel what looks like 10 feet in the air. This happened at a campground around 8:30 on Friday night. Moments before the attack, he was taking photos of the bison with one of his grandchildren by his side. Here's the photographer that captured the attack on video. Mike McLeod talked with KTVQ in Montana.
My wife saw a bull bison come into the campground, and it was just walking, but there were these young boys standing by a tent, and they had their phones out, and for whatever reason, the bison, who was still like 50 to 100 feet away, just charged them.
Yellowstone Park officials have yet to comment on the attack. Carl suffered broken bones, but he's in stable condition. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is helping lead a multi-state lawsuit aimed at blocking Paramount Skydance's proposed $110 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery. Brown and attorneys general from 11 other states argue the merger would reduce competition in the movie and television industries. Warner Brothers Discovery is behind hit films like Inception, Dune, and The Dark Knight.
So what are you proposing?
It's simple. Kill the Batman.
That merger, a $110 billion. Governor Bob Ferguson is highlighting college access today at Highline College in Des Moines. Ferguson will also discuss the progress of the Washington Completes FAFSA campaign. The initiative, created through an executive order back in September of 2025, is designed to boost financial aid applications and help more Washington students pursue higher education. Today marks the first weekday that Revive I-5 construction is back after pausing during the World Cup matches here in Seattle. KIRO 7 TV's Tyre Majors reports northbound I-5 is reduced to 2 lanes across the Ship Canal Bridge.
In addition to the lanes being reduced, the Harvard Avenue on-ramp will be closed until mid-October. The express lanes will run northbound only 24/7, which could cause delays for drivers leaving Snohomish County. Your best alternate routes are SR 99, I-405, or 15th Avenue Northwest through Ballard, but of course those will see backups too. So WashDOT officials say the backups really do depend on what drivers do.
For your KIRO News Radio weather, sunshine and warmer temperatures today. No clouds this morning, but some isolated spots tomorrow and Wednesday. We're cooling off later in the week, but for right now, it's about 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell is in for G today. Good morning.
Good morning. I think we're doing an okay job solving some of the world's problems, attempting to, at least giving our opinions about it for sure.
You know what? We do that well. Give our opinions. You know, it's a lot easier to give an opinion than it is to actually solve the problem, and we get that. There was someone who texted in earlier saying, you need to bring someone in and hold them accountable. Hey, we try. We've been trying to get Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson to join us on the show. Chef, how are we doing with that?
TBD.
Cricket. Mayor Wilson or anyone in her office, if you are listening, we would love to have you on the show. Just want to put that out there because there are a lot of things. And like I said, we want Seattle to succeed.
Yes. And maybe I'm sure there are perspectives that maybe we have not thought about.
Exactly.
And so I would love to hear those.
Exactly. Okay, text us. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
We've talked quite a bit about education, and we're going to talk about it again because this is from a Danny Westneat column. He points out that the University of Washington has 2 major budget problems right now. the College of Arts and Sciences, where students take classes, is facing a roughly $14 million deficit. But it turns out the athletics department, this was the surprise to me, the athletics department is about $19 million in the red. But according to Danny Westneat, only one of them got a bailout. Arts and Sciences was ordered to make cuts, so staff were laid off, faculty openings went unfilled, and the English department says it lost half of its graduate program. But in the athletics department, it's a whole different story. That department has received nearly $47 million in low-interest internal loans from the university, including one that might not be paid back until 2048. And so if you look at it, the athletic department now carries nearly 10% of all UW debt while generating less than 2% of its revenue. And also, looking at the people who are actually working in these departments, 5 of Washington's 7 highest paid state employees work in UW sports. For example, football coach Jed Fish made nearly $6 million last year alone. So looking at this, the breakdown, first of all, I was surprised that the athletics department was so deep in the red.
Yeah, that's not what you typically hear when the perception of athletic departments is that they typically fund the entire, they shouldn't say they fund the entire thing, but they actually help universities out. They're a moneymaker. In this case, and why did you look like that?
They're banking on future money coming in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I mean, look, I'm not an expert on this kind of thing and what it means, the implications of switching from, Pac-12 to Big Ten, but I know there are huge expenses that come with that transition. And yes, you're betting on that this is going to make us money in the future, that we're going to spend a lot now, we're going to take the hit now, and you're taking a few steps back so you can go forward. If that pays off, isn't that a smart business decision?
Yeah, Kate, I will say yes, but I think the point that I took away from this column is that why isn't College of Arts and Sciences more of a priority? And again, it goes down to what you said in the last hour, which is, they're going to pay more for athletics, and they were more interested in athletics than academics. And I think that is the problem.
Yeah. And in case you are just now joining us and you missed that conversation, there was a huge article that talked about AI not being the main driver of some of the difficulties in unemployment with young people.
Yes.
That there are these job openings and students don't have the skills to meet those job openings. And so you have a lot of people saying, well, what's the point in investing in going to college for a degree that I'm not going to be able to use when the demand might be for airplane mechanics or teachers, things like that.
Mental health
counselors. So are these colleges making a smart move by maybe downsizing departments where people aren't seeking those degrees?
Well,
I see Chef chomping at the bit on my take.
Well, you repeated what is a common narrative, but is not actually true.
Okay.
So athletics, here's the facts. Athletics like football and basketball, they create most of the revenue within the athletic department that pays for the other sports, but athletics itself often operates at a loss. UW's has for years. They haven't shown a net profit in years. WSU, a couple of years ago, was nearly $250 million in debt for their athletic department. UW had major stadium renovations and upgrades that cost a ton of money. They are now dealing with NIL players, which means that their team has a salary and a budget for those players. They have a coach who makes a ton of money. And so while they're operating in the biggest conference in football in the United States, the costs of competing in that conference are escalating more than the revenue is bringing in, to the point where the money from the Big Ten TV deal is coming in. But next season, they're already showing they're going to be $16 million in the hole, still operating in the Big Ten. And unless they win that national championship, they're going to have a banner year.
Yeah.
But they're still operating at a loss now, and they have been for some time.
Okay,
I just need to flat out say it. I hate to say it, but I think the UW, like many other educational institutions, has their priorities screwed up. And I'm sorry, but I'm still mourning the loss of the Pac-12. So this idea of we're going to join this different thing, leave Washington State in the lurch and join this bigger thing because it's going to bring more money. Mm-hmm. Well, now it's like, no, we're still in the hole and we're taking up most of the debt load for the university, banking on something in the future. I hope it works out. But what it means for those of us who are season ticket holders, for example, to UW Husky football games, our cost of our ticket prices keep going up and up and up. Meanwhile, I hate to see that the College of Arts and Sciences has to make drastic cuts. And I completely hear what they're saying, the professors who are saying, well, wait a minute. Why is the athletic department getting so much priority?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question because looking up, double checking what Chef was talking about, because I think a lot of people perceive that athletics departments across America at various colleges make money. And if it's true that most of them are not turning a profit, then why are they so highly prioritized? What's the why other than, prestige? Prestige.
They bring up marketing for the schools, right? It's great marketing for schools. But do they need the marketing to get more students?
Let's face it. Okay. I appreciate the question, but don't tell me that Gonzaga having an amazing basketball program hasn't made more people want to go there.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Sure. But again,
absolutely.
What do you want more people applying for? You want more people so you raise in the rankings, because college rankings are all about how many students apply versus how many get in. And when we're talking about the fact that it's nearly impossible for many local kids to get into the university, doesn't that seem like an out of whack priority? If we can't get local nursing students, and also the assumption that, the English department should operate at a profit. No. It is an English department. It's not supposed to operate for profit. They are putting money into, as they do, every department. They put money into.
Who said they should? Who said that?
Well,
I didn't say that. Did someone say?
No. We're comparing. We're saying, hey, look, you got to cut because the English. This is framed in the article. You have to cut from the English department because they're showing a loss. But
Understood.
The athletic department, which is showing a greater loss, is getting more and more money.
Yeah, they're just basically going deeper into
English
debt.
is not supposed to be profitable anyway.
Yes. Okay, so I'll go back to the point of their priorities are screwed up, and why it's chasing the big dollar, thinking that the athletics eventually is going to be the big money maker, which it traditionally has been for the schools. And I just think that's just a bad look.
Yeah. I think it's a bad look, and I would love to see if they were, especially in light of what we talked about related to, the kinds of degrees we're getting and being a mismatch with the demands of the economy, that they putting some of those resources, if that, let's say, is an underperforming field, that they'd put that money towards areas where we know when they graduate with that degree, they can actually do well. But here's the thing. Aren't they in a position now where UW has to dig in? You can't make this an utter failure, right? I mean, so the bailout at this point, not doing that, you'd be admitting it was a horrible move. So I think they're past the point of
yes.
Of
they're gonna make it work. They're again banking on that to eventually come, and then I think the potential for big money is there. I've just been lost on the whole college sports thing. I have lost so much interest since the NIL came into play.
Right.
Since we've changed, we went from mostly West Coast schools being in the Pac-12 to now being in this. And maybe I'm in the minority on this, but I just, I'm still of that antiquated thinking of, I still think it's great that the students get a college education out of it. And when Gee and I talk about this, it's just that's not enough.
Oh,
payment.
I agree. I'm with Gee on that one.
Yeah, I know. But that's why I said I feel like I'm in a whole nother world.
I love this. Like, two things can be true, because I do think that having NIL has shifted the whole dynamic, and it's created some things that have not been great. And at the same time, I don't think because everyone doesn't get sometimes you do sports at these schools and you don't get free tuition, but you're playing and you're still paying full tuition. So if they are able to monetize them, their efforts of being I don't know, what do you call it? Your name, image, and likeness.
It's only a tiny fraction of the players that get that.
I get that. I'm just
and mostly men.
I just don't like the idea of other folks making money and you not getting much out of it.
Oh, I agree with that.
Right.
I don't agree with the exploitation part.
Yes.
But I think a college education and having some other benefits that go along with it, I'm just not in favor of now you're getting $1 million to play at this school and then the next year you're going to play
so
at a different school.
they're constantly transferring. You don't
not
have
even
the
college
loyalty
anymore.
Yeah, I agreed.
It's basically semi-pro. It's just waiting your time to go pro for those few select
So
players.
what's the fix that might strike that balance? I think that's if there is a demand for some kind of reeling back in, but I don't know if that will. I don't know
it's already out.
Yeah,
Can you reel it back in? No. No, but I think one fix would be put more priority, or at least equal priority, into the education component versus banking everything on the potential earnings for the university in the athletics department. But again, I may be in the minority. Okay, we need to talk about Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank, because there's a story in the News Tribune that says that he told thousands of his followers that a woman called 911 because she simply did not like what he said and wanted police to arrest him. But it turns out that according to 911 audio and dispatch records obtained by the News Tribune, that's not what happened. So Swank had posted on X that a woman, in parentheses, a confused leftist, didn't like what we normal people said. So she called 911 to have the Tacoma Police Department come here and arrest us. That was the quote. And he said, "This is an example of what the left does when they don't agree with you." But it turns out the woman actually called to report that she felt harassed in the parking lot after this contentious Pierce County Charter Review Commission meeting. And these meetings are happening because there's going to be a vote in November whether to make the sheriff's position appointed versus elected. And Sheriff Swank has been posting a lot saying, come out and force. We need to tell them that we don't want this. So anyway, this woman told the dispatchers that another woman confronted her in the parking lot, yelled at her, and revved a truck, making her afraid that she might be run over. And Tacoma police responded, determined no threats had been made, and escorted the caller safely to her car. Now, the News Tribune says Swank has not responded to requests for a comment, but just going back to the whole thing, Angela, about Swank saying he said they were normal words at earlier commission meetings. These include things like referring to homeless people as transient hobos, people with addictions as crackheads, and saying that protesters should be called terrorists. Keith Swank, if for those who have not been following, loves getting attention on social media, loves to put just, I think, abhorrent things on social media. But the caller clearly disliked Swank and used insulting language of her own, but the public record does not show the sheriff's claim that she called 911 to arrest him because she disagreed with him.
Yeah, she called 911 because she felt harassed. She was scared.
Yes.
That's what the report is.
Yes.
Two things. I just want to double check. So he has not corrected the record despite the evidence that has shown what the reality was. He has not gone on. Two things. As how many of us you encounter a social media headline and you say, really? Like someone called 911 over your views? I think it's a reminder whenever you hear that thing that just either is too good to be true or is just like, wow, that's shocking. Double check it. Because, I mean, how crazy does that sound, right? And then
most people aren't going to double check it.
Most
and it
people
goes
aren't going to
toward
double
his
check.
Followers who feel.
Which goes to my second point.
Yes.
We at our best in the news business should do this, that when we make a mistake and say something that's incorrect, we should have the integrity to go back online and fix it. You see newspapers offer retractions all the time. I know we've done it on KIRO Radio, and you admit mistakes.
Yes.
And as a public figure, as the sheriff, considering the evidence, the actual call shows this was not true, he should have integrity and go online to his followers and say, hey, didn't quite get this right. And that concerns me, because you want an elected official who has integrity, and he needs to make this right. And you're looking at me like,
do you think, okay, given his history, given what he does on social media, how he has talked on our show and other shows, what he has said while testifying in Olympia, do you think that apology is coming?
I guess I won't stay up late waiting. I won't stay up late waiting, but I hope it at least prompts us to be, skeptical consumers of media, not cynical per se, but definitely skeptical, and being able to check multiple sources before believing someone's word, especially someone's word with that history. But that's what really makes my heart ache, is that you have people in positions of power who are allowed to just say whatever without being checked. And that's powerful and dangerous.
It is, and that's how he gets a lot of his following. He says out loud what others may not feel that comfortable saying. And I just wish differently for Pierce County. Whether or not you, and by the way, I just want to remind people, you get a vote to decide. So you will vote whether it should be an appointed or an elected position. So that there is a vote for that.
Yes.
But I just wish that this particular sheriff would be a sheriff for everybody.
And have some integrity. And you know what? When you make a mistake, you fix it. Because that's just good character and good values.
Yeah.
And we want those in law enforcement to practice good values.
For sure. Okay, coming up at, I can't believe it already is time. It's going to be Agree to Disagree coming up next.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
State Senator Jamie Peterson drafted one of the state's most progressive taxes to date, the income tax on millionaires.
Engaging conversation.
We pay teachers the fourth highest of any state in the country.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
The Seahawks, they're bringing it home again.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The sounds of summer. They're great until they're not. Luckily, AutoZone has free battery testing and charging
Let me check that for you.
to help make a rough moment smooth. Don't miss the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone. Free products with select deals until July 27th. And free services every day. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Insulation rebates from PSE are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSE insulation rebates last year, more than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSE trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Your old water heater's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic.
Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
Dayandnight.net. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Holy smokes! The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat is.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you are one of the unlucky ones, reverse your fortune by calling Herald Car Law Offices. While you're resting, Herald Car Law Offices will deal with insurance and get you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Car spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. Carlaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call CAR.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
You've worked hard, saved diligently, and now retirement is on the horizon. But will your nest egg go the distance? With rising costs and uncertain markets, there's no time for oversimplified plans. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Life doesn't have to slow you down just because costs are up. At Subaru of Puyallup, fuel-efficient models help you go farther with the confidence of all-wheel drive. And you have to experience the newly redesigned Subaru Outback with bold styling, advanced safety, an upgraded touchscreen, and even more capability. For stress-free pricing, a huge selection, and current offers, stop by Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. Part of the Harnish Auto family. Visit SubaruofPuyallup.com.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's cars with a K.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. President Trump says the U.S. Navy blockade will go back into effect as Iran claims it's closed the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump said Monday he was reinstating the U.S. Navy blockade near the Strait of Hormuz and also claimed the U.S. would charge a 20% toll on all cargo shipped through that waterway, saying it was a, quote, matter of fairness. He didn't say how that would work or why the U.S. had the right to do that in an international waterway that he himself has said should be free for commercial travel. The president earlier today told Fox News the U.S. would take control of the Strait of Hormuz and get paid for protecting it. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A man accused of attempting to kidnap at Pike Place Market is due back in court today. Investigators say the suspect approached a family Thursday morning, complimented their child, then grabbed the stroller. Douglas Wagoner with the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office tells KIRO 7 TV.
An attempted kidnapping, that's really concerning behavior. That's why we saw prosecutors ask for the high bail amount.
He's being held in the King County Jail on $100,000 bail. A newly released 911 call challenges Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank's claim that a woman called police simply because she disagreed with him during a recently chartered review commission meeting. Instead, as you'll hear, the caller told dispatchers she was frightened after a confrontation with another woman outside the meeting.
I'm telling you, this is not funny. This is scary. He said last Monday that people who are protesters are terrorists.
Swank had posted on social media that the woman wanted officers to arrest him and his supporters. Tacoma police later determined no criminal threats had been made. The recording and police records were obtained by the Tacoma News Tribune. Sheriff Swank did not respond to the newspaper's request for comment. An Everett toddler is in the hospital after a collision with a motorcycle Sunday afternoon. Everett police say the crash happened around 2:30 near South 2nd Avenue and Eugene Street. Everett Fire transported the child to a hospital with a few injuries. The motorcyclist stayed at the scene and cooperated with investigators. Police say the investigation is ongoing. The Mariners closed out the first half with an 8-2 victory over Tampa Bay. They're off until Friday when the Giants come to town. And now for your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO News Radio app. So far on the roads, it's looking like it's going to be a bit heavy through downtown Seattle. Reminder, Revive I-5 is still alive right now. Downtown Everett to Seattle is going to take you about a half an hour. Expect about 50 minutes if you're on 405 from Alderwood to South Center compared to about 45 minutes if you're taking I-5. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app, listen to your favorite shows, and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. Now for your forecast, sunshine and warm temperatures today. No clouds this morning, but there'll be some clouds tomorrow and even Wednesday. It'll be cooler as we get through the week. Right now, it's about 63 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell is in for Gee today. Gee will be back tomorrow. And right now it is time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
All right.
Hello.
Anyways, let's move on here. We'll just start. So I want to talk about an amazing story out of the Washington Post and what one of their reporters was able to accomplish in a mere matter of hours. So this reporter was able to get full credit for 2 online college courses in a single day through this platform called Sophie Learning. So Sophie Learning is not a college, but more than 100 colleges across the country accept their courses for credits. And at some schools, students can apply Sophie credits towards as much as 75% of a degree. So the reporter said, hey, on this platform, the tests are open book and unsupervised. So I just pressed Control F on my keyboard to search the course materials for answers when the tests were given. And boom, in a number of hours, I finished 2 entire classes. So after this story, Sophie made some changes so that it's harder for people to do this. But this follows a large number of stories of students basically speed running their way through a bachelor's degree through online courses, whether it's through a college or one of these workarounds like Sophie Learning. And Angela, we still have on job applications today. Please tell us your educational experience, bachelor's degree required. Is bachelor's degree, should that be, and is it a job requirement?
A job requirement?
Is it a credential for a job?
It is absolutely.
Does it show anything?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you can't. It depends on the job, obviously. But I think it absolutely is a credential. And I think that for any employer, they're going to look at, like, what kind of school did you come from? Was it an open book? There are some well-known colleges that actually have an honor system when they take tests. I'll never forget a coffee shop owner saying, he was talking to me about how he hires. And he said, I can teach someone how to make coffee. I can't teach them how to be kind. Mm-hmm. And I think most people who pursue degrees, and let's say, I think Sophie is this extreme example, but going through 4 years of a degree absolutely teaches you something. I can go through 5 or 6 different fields that you might say theater. What does it have to do with marketing? You would be amazed to know what people learn in theater that applies to so many different areas of life, whether it's engineering, whether it's health. There's something about having to navigate people, professors, new environments that translates into the job environment. I do not think it actually necessarily has to be a requirement for a lot of jobs, but I absolutely think it's a credential and shows something.
Well said. Well said. Okay, and I say that because so much of the narrative now is a bachelor's degree is worthless, and I don't think it is.
Oh, no.
And I will always be an advocate for higher education or advanced training, because I also believe college is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say, should it be a requirement? Well, it depends on the job.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely depends on the job. But I think that how you explained, like if someone says, I got a degree in theater, well, there are going to be some people who do a side eye on that one, right? And make a lot of assumptions about that. But the way you were able to explain, well, this is how it helps me with marketing, and this is how it helps me with engineering, or this is how it helps me with, if you were able to explain that to a future employer, that's fantastic.
There are sometimes I get frustrated by corporate people not connecting dots. And I'll give you one example with our show. With 15 minutes to spare, one of our actors found out that a main character was sick and he could not do his part.
I was there.
Okay,
the day that happened.
He had moments to figure out. Okay, what were his songs, the lines? He had to figure out, when is he going to enter? When is he going to exit? What was and still do his role. The amount of intelligence that takes to pull something like that off. I would hire someone like that in an instant and show you how to do the things I need you to do.
Right.
I mean, you can't do mechanic even train, but
I totally get what you were saying. He was able to pivot. He was able to use his noggin to try to figure out how I'm going to do both of these things, and to be able to explain that. Unfortunately, some people will just stop at theater major. And like, well, that's not, I'm going to eliminate that. This is the weeding out process, and that's not someone I'm going to bring into the picture.
Yeah. Empathy. Oh, gosh. EQ for actors. Mm-hmm. The EQ they have to have, which helps you in a corporate environment.
I think that a college degree, a simpler bachelor's degree, is a credential in that it is a barrier. It is a barrier to pass through, which shows something, right? That you're able to apply yourself. But, I mean, even if you go through one of these online academies, and let's say you earn a bachelor's degree in 8 months or a year instead of the traditional 4, it shows that you can complete something. But to your point, you cannot teach kindness. You cannot teach thinking on your feet, as happened with this actor in your theater performance. And a college degree or a bachelor's degree shows none of that. It shows none of that to me. I think that most people could be trained for a vast array of jobs without a bachelor's degree. We simply don't have the framework to do that in an institution, right? So we take, for example, here, if we had an internship program that accepted students for free, right, and they didn't come from any school background, we could likely train them up to be a reporter here or to do the anchor's desk. But because of the way the system works, we require them to be at a credentialed university in order to accept the internship, because legally, otherwise we would have to pay them. We could train people off the street to do this. It is not the bachelor's degree.
Yeah, not everybody, and not every
not
position.
Everybody out. You're right. Not everybody.
Yes,
but not everybody with a bachelor's degree either.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
But I would still say that committing yourself to get a goal within 4 or 5 years, or however it takes you to do the bachelor's degree, does show certain things. I mean, it shows A, commitment, B, some, and not that you can't show grit in other ways, but I mean, there are things that have to happen to achieve that goal of getting that. And again, that goes to if you want an apprenticeship or you want to do, I don't think the college degree is the end all be all.
No.
But I
There's
also
simply
don't
no
think
way
it's
to
wasted.
quantify that outside of a degree.
Well, let me give you
for most people.
Let me give you some examples. You said, okay, you could train someone to be a journalist, radio person. You could.
Yes.
But let me tell you what getting that degree meant for me. It was sitting in a psychology class, understanding human behavior. It was in political science class, learning, and history class, learning about history, because the best way to make sense of today is to learn about yesterday. It also helps you look into the future. I mean, those are things that I guess you could Google it or go on AI, but there's something about reading the books that come with those courses and getting the different perspectives. I mean, going out and doing stories and getting an F because I failed, and you're going to make mistakes, but I also think you can get some of your mistakes out of the way in training. And so I don't think degrees are the end all be all, but I also don't want them devalued either, because they absolutely have made me better at what I do.
We'll have to have another conversation about the first 2 years of college at some point. And whether we should just get those out of the way.
But even
that part.
Yeah. There's
something to be said for that.
Yeah, there was some waste there.
And do you know some of these kids will take all these college credit courses, and some of these colleges won't accept them even if they got a 5, let's say on the AP, because they want you to pay that money for 4 years.
No way.
You're kidding, right?
Yes, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have words to live by, and of course, we hear you. Your feedback coming up next.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Reutin from the Gee and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the Gee and Ursula YouTube channel.
Look, I need to be real with you for a second. At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families cannot afford the food their kids need to heal. Think about that. A child recovering from surgery, learning to walk again, and the family is struggling to put nutritious food on the table. That's why Safeway and Seahawk, Jackson Smith and Jigba are launching the Food First Project, a multi-year initiative to fight pediatric food insecurity right here in our community. This is not someday maybe talk. This is grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs going directly to families the moment the need is identified. No barriers, no red tape, just help right now. They're funding vitamin D screenings, nutrition support for student athletes, rehabilitation feeding tools, and meals for hundreds of families staying inpatient at the hospital. I love what Safeway and Seattle Children's are doing, making a real difference where it matters most. JSN showing up. Now it's our turn, 12s. Put food first. Learn more at Safeway.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line, and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's the best time of the year at Staples, with back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. It's so cool that I got to fill in with you this week, Ursula. Well, hey, we just started this Monday. Well, Gee is back tomorrow.
On Friday.
I was here on Friday, and so I've been around.
Always really cool. And you know what I really appreciate? What? And I shouldn't even say this out loud, but I'm going to say it because it's us. Well, not once did we get a complaint about how many women were on the show.
I know.
I think we've turned a corner.
Which is amazing. Yeah, because we used to get that. They were like, what is this, you?
Exactly.
No, it's two humans just,
having a good time, having a great conversation. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, well, I want you to start, though, because you are the guest, and we had a lot of people texting in.
I am. Okay, yes, here I go. So these are text messages.
Seahawks are going to have a new owner.
Yes, Robin Puyallup, a 49ers fan owning the Hawks. That just feels so wrong.
Well, and Katie in Tacoma says, I feel like a 3% ownership of the 49ers is a billionaire's version of a free trial before committing to purchase a football team. And just to make clear, that's funny, to be clear, they're going to have to give that up.
Yes,
so you can't have that conflict there.
Absolutely. CJ and Bothell. Ursula, Clay Bennett said all the right things after he bought the Sonics, so I can't help but wonder where the Seahawks will play after they leave town. What, CJ?
They're not going to leave town. I mean,
Jody wouldn't do us like that.
No, and we just won a Super Bowl, and we have a great fan base. I don't think so.
See, I was feeling good, and CJ has planted the seed now.
Oh, no. Okay, when we talked about Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham passing away at 71, and both you and I were saying, man, that's too young anymore. I mean, that's too young.
Yep.
And Paul on the 253, of course, had to point out, Ursula, 71 seems young because we're old. Okay.
All right, thanks. I know you guys are on fire on the text line. Howard Schultz, founder of Starbucks, lashing out at Seattle and Washington, the politics. Fernando in Seattle, man, talk about that disgruntled ex-husband.
206 says, Howard Schultz acting like he cares about Seattle. That's offensive. The guy sold the Sonics. Good riddance.
Whew. Mark in Nisqually, have Starbucks or even REI worked out a contract with their employees yet? Still hasn't happened. Seems like big business would rather spend money on hiring union-busting law firms and run off to right-to-work states.
Howard Schultz did not get a whole lot of love after we talked about that situation. Okay. The mismatch between what people are trained to do versus the massive number of jobs that need to be filled. Susan in Kent says, do you know anyone who has tried to get into the nursing programs in Washington State? The expense to go out of state is not available to a lot of students economically. And please stop talking about teachers not being paid in this state. That's a myth in Washington. The problem is how much is being paid to university presidents, CEOs, and board members at the public corporations who are conducting for-profit healthcare businesses. And affordability is chasing the tail of the gross overpayment of upper management in these companies. A lot of good points there.
You know, very good point, because I think about if you get into a nursing program in your state, affordable, but if you all of a sudden can't get in there, you have to go out of state, it's really expensive and cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Arguing on vacation with your partner, it is a thing. Woo. Melanie says, literally in the car driving to Whistler with my family, and my husband rolled his eyes that I needed to make room in the car for my humidifier. You have to have your things, chef.
A humidifier?
Yes.
Wait.
I love you, Melanie, but wow.
Wait. Okay. Have you ever had issues where you need a humidifier?
Yes.
No, you haven't. So
I don't know.
Pipe
Get one of those collapsible tea kettles you can boil water with in your hotel room.
Steaming it up. Okay. UW bailing out the athletics department to the tune of nearly $47 million. Tim in Olympia says, I'm a retired college basketball coach and I'm happy to be out of it. College sports have gone to hell. That last line, that's what I feel like. College sports have gone to hell.
And you're not alone. Craig in South Lake Union, I'm with you. I gave up my UW football season tickets I've had for 40 years. The team is in a new league. The game times are awful now. Players are one and done. Every 5 years, they reallocate seat locations based on total donation. Really? I was moved 5 times. At least with the Seahawks, you know what you're getting.
Wait. They say, we're going to move your season tickets because you haven't donated enough above and beyond what you paid for your season tickets?
Wow.
Chef. Yeah, so for the longest time, we were not in a covered section. And we finally got partially in a covered section.
You pay enough outside of what you're paying for the seats?
Yes, and then also longevity. So we're rewarded for longevity because we're not going to pay that much extra. No.
Wow. Okay, well, is it time to get to Ursula's words to live by?
Yes.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
You're so sweet. Okay, this is a Nick Vucicic quote. Don't know who he is, but I like this quote because we're talking about integrity in certain professions with certain law enforcement type who happen to be in Pierce County. If you want to influence others, the most important thing you can do is be a living example of the principles, the ideals, and the faith that you speak about.
So in other words, change yourself and change the world. Be better, the world will be better.
Yes.
I love that. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Angela. I always appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me, Ursula.
And I'm sure we'll do it again soon. Chef, thank you for a great show. And Nick.
Well, some are hopping on the trend of maxing out their looks, checking out some time with plastic surgeons, getting appointments booked, and it might create some arguments with couples on vacation, finding out it's more men wanting those nose jobs now in the nation. So good luck to the guys who think they need to fix their face, but they should feel lucky Bisons didn't flip them off their base. I can't say the same for good old Carl, though, who got taken for a ride, but at least he got a bit of a laugh out of the incident.
Dang, Nick, that was fire.
Nick,
that was fire.
You really wrapped that up.
Wow.
That was great. By the way, we have a lot of bison experts on our text line. Yeah, and one pointed out correctly, there's a reason why they have signs that say "Don't get out of your car."
Oh, do they have that?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
You don't want to be hanging around.
But they were by a tent, right?
I mean,
this was in a campsite area, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Stay away. You know, I'm not blaming the victim because that was very scary.
Absolutely. And y'all on social media are awful, by the way. Your comments. Good
about
gracious.
That particular situation. I think it's mostly because he survived, thankfully.
Yes.
Thankfully, he survived. Okay, the Jake and Spike Show is coming up next. Stay with us and have a great day.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody. I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about soccer. Serious passion, inhuman stamina, and yet exaggerated injuries. Soccer is one of the few sports where overtime is a little subjective. One thing we know is that many fans enjoy game day with craft brews. Be sure to keep a clean sheet. It's not worth trading in those bicycle kicks for riding your bicycle to work. When being pulled over for DUI, there are rarely yellow cards, only red. So play it safe and don't go off sides. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to schedule your free private consultation. If you're stopped for DUI midfield from home and there are no free kicks, make it your goal to call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY! I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots. He scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Summer is for letting it rip.
Swung on and missed, ripped it right by him. 7 scoreless innings. Marvelous Miller again.
Summer is for showing out.
Swing and a miss. Woo, 6 up and 6 down.
Summer is for Mariners baseball.
Logan Gilbert, he's knocked down a dozen in a row.
So pump your fist, call your favorite Walter, and head to T-Mobile Park because our pitchers are rolling. From George Kirby to Senor Smoke.
Up in the attic at 101. Nothing but the express tonight for Andres Munoz.
Matilda would be proud. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The Mariners are back in town this weekend for a West Coast showdown against the San Francisco Giants, including 2000's Fireworks Night this Friday, presented by T-Mobile. Plus, don't miss a 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds with value games on Monday the 20th and Tuesday the 21st. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots. He scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of